got a slow start over here.
Yeah. Ah, insta kill.
Nice.
I got real lucky. Oh, and it was a healer too. That feels better.
Oh,
It was.
poor heals.
Doesn't matter that we all got a slow start. We just let them wait my portal out while we all walk over here. Ooh, they got a Jeff on top of a Goot.
A goot.
the Groot couldn't move because I was holding him in place.
Oh, he got me. A fucking destructible pillar stopped me. Isn't Overwatch doing a collab with Marvel Rivals now?
What?
Or was that
That would
I
be
thought-
really strange.
it may have been an April Fool's joke, but
I saw
it in-
what I think was an April Fool's joke,
Yeah, that's likely.
but I did see the same thing.
It's just one of those things like, oh, that's neat, whatever. I mean, it could benefit both.
I was gonna say I feel like it'd be good for both of them. So I mean, I don't know why.
Yeah, some things that maybe start as a joke should be taken with some seriousness. Well, how would this work?
Mostly it was just a Penny Parker and a Diva, like, palette swap.
Okay.
I think they gave, like, a spray-painted spider on Diva's outfit.
Mm.
Oh, they're triple healing.
Yeah,
Yep, and the
that's a meta.
I didn't even see the thing that hit me. Like, I spawned
It was, like,
into the
so
match.
low.
Solo, that's my job.
Oh no, the only kill we've gotten is my portal. I think we upset them.
Yeah.
And by we, I mean me. I'm just trying to stay on the point for a bit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna heal you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. As someone who is low health, that's very helpful.
I've heard. I've
healing
heard
somebody who's low health is helpful.
if you want to win as a healer, you should heal people.
But I'm Stuart, so it's my fault.
It's usually. At least I'd sure like to blame you.
Is that there, Jeff? Oh, yep.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh, that actually is an interesting fact. They,
I got stuck on the freaking chariot.
they made it so if I don't get my fly off in time, I still keep it in Jeff.
I'm making a comeback.
Interesting.
Aren't most... Don't they have like 3 lords? I can't tell on some of them. Pretty sure the Iron Man...
The Iron Man is. The Luna Snow, I believe, is.
The Cloak and Dagger too, I think.
No.
No?
Well, Iron Man's down.
Got their Cloak and Daggers. Just walk behind them and poke in their heels. Their heals attention. I don't like it because they're actually way stronger than they look. Got their Cloak and Dagger.
Well, D, apparently I have to watch your stream on 160p right now.
What's going on?
That
I
some
don't
of
know,
this really
but
has
I've
to
had a
do-
lot of skipped frames.
I've still got songs
Weird.
to sing.
When's the last time you sacrificed to your computer?
Recently, so I don't know what the fuck its problem is.
It's now or never.
Was it a child or just a normal sacrifice?
It was a baby.
Was it a good baby or was it like a baby Hitler? Because that
It was
actually
a
makes
cute
sense.
baby.
Cute doesn't matter. It's
I am
how
ready to
good
punish.
of a baby was it?
Thanks so much.
I'm in the shit, guys.
I'm trying to get to you.
I know. I was like, oh fuck! I stopped him from pushing with that ult, but that's about it.
That's all we need right now.
Got the Jeff.
Got Jeff.
I am ready to
Fuck you, Jessica.
Jessica.
So, one of the cartoons I have suggested you watch, I was listening to one of the songs, and it dawned on me that it's dealing with euthanasia in the show.
What about
Alright.
elderly in Asia?
I don't know.
Wow.
They don't matter.
Oh. Wow.
They just want to die.
That's ageist.
Sometimes.
Well, you don't talk about age on your stream, so there's that.
It's one of those
My
weird
stream
rules,
is
right?
suffering so bad right now.
I like the cold.
Oh, he's still alive. I'm like, oh, cool,
Yep.
his ult is done. Nope.
Still alive, still ulting. Yeah.
It goes on for quite a while, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it starts way earlier, too, than I initially expected when I was still learning the game.
Be strong together. I like the cold.
I just still hear the stupid Hot Fuzz line of Nick Frost saying, "You're not Judge Judy and the Executioner."
He stopped them in their tracks.
Cute.
I mean, the character's talking to his father who's trying to murder people.
Oh. I'm stuck on stuff.
I was worried.
Does anybody else, or did anyone else, like, realize early on that Punisher's turret is just his logo?
Wait, what?
Like, the shield part of it is his logo?
I didn't notice.
Ready
No.
to put on
It's the skull logo on the front.
I see. Twitch, for some reason, skips a lot of frames for me if I'm in a game. That's, like, pretty antagonistic to why you would stream.
I like the cold.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah,
Oh,
this,
yeah.
this has been a pretty garbage round.
Yeah. Well, you can't quit on a lose, Oz, so I guess we
Yes,
have
I
to
can,
play another
and I
one.
will.
I'm making a comeback.
I'm not gonna lie, I've blocked a lot of damage this match at least.
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
Because it is 1:30. And I need to get going.
That's fair.
Get to the going.
Get to the sleeping.
Oz, but
Wow.
what if you didn't?
Hey, it was the SVP. Cool.
What if I didn't do the what?
The sleeping.
I would probably really hate myself tomorrow. And D already
Oh, that's
struggles to
tomorrow's
get me to
problem.
be conscious. D already really struggles to get me to be conscious in
That
the
is
morning. Like, really struggles.
I know you're having trouble saying the word conscious for some reason because we're playing
know.
this game. I was waiting to hear you say like Khonshu or something.
Conscious. Yeah.
Struggles to get me Khonshu.
Has there always been this little, like, dice rolly minigame?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No.
Well, not
I mean,
always.
like, it's been for a while.
been for a while since, I don't know. You haven't noticed it at all?
No.
It's been weeks at least.
I've had 20 rolls. I was like, oh cool, I'll just keep doing it.
Nice.
Did you get the venom
much
thing
as-
in the center?
I did.
As much as I would like. It's 18 hours to claim? Are you fucking kidding me? God damn it. I guess I'm in for one more round.
Yes, you are.
Please invite me. God damn it.
Oh no. No, I'm just kidding.
Oz, I'm confused. You only said one more.
No, I said 2 more.
No, after
Mhm.
the first one, you said one more. This is the last one.
Yeah, well, I'm back, so eat me.
I can't. You're too far physically to do.
Hi, thank you for those of you who are waiting through a soft open where I do not address you and have not started the discourse topic. It's just emergent opportunity upon which we can do a little bit of socialization with some friends while the socialization is good. So here we are playing a little bit of Rivals with everybody. And then we will get the official Wednesday/Thursday show underway for you all. Love your faces and thanks for being here.
Light can heal and light can harm.
Back, and Dee and I ran upstairs to hide from the children.
Yeah.
As you do.
And I hopped into the girls' bathtub, and my fucking yogurt was in their goddamn bathtub. I'm like, what? What?
It do be like that sometimes.
But like, why?
Jim says taboo behaviors have sailed the high seas for half my life, roughly. I turn 22 next month. Oh, wow. Wait, what is... I don't know what sailed the high seas means. in my brain, I understand that to be like a person who is doing maritime work, either military or private sector. But I don't actually know what that would mean with quotes around it. Or why that would be taboo. If that means that you surround yourself with seamen, I can understand that. Today I'm a plant, much grow, many water, very quiet, photosynthesis. Troa, I love that. Plant mode is a real thing, and I couldn't think of a better way to explain it, honestly. All right, popping back in Discord.
Done nothing. No, I'm actually doing okay.
We should call Loki the bass cleft.
What?
You
That
know,
sounds
the
like some
Loki,
sort of like sexual position.
It's well,
Like,
it's Loki,
are
so
you
that-
are you treble or bass? Oh. Okay. Sailing the high seas, I've heard this term for being an enjoyer of the giggle bush. Oh, okay. That makes sense to me, I
I
guess.
do want a giggle bush.
You want a giggle bush?
Yes.
I do not know the laws of your area as to what's allowed to be personally grown on your own premises.
On California, and I just realized what the giggle bush was.
Oh, okay.
I thought it meant vagina.
Oh, I mean...
I thought that first too, honestly.
What? Oh, okay. Wow. We're coming up with new terminology here. 'Cause
I mean,
why
there's
not?
so many names for vagina, but also marijuana.
I love that Cloak and Dagger has an auto aim. I also kind of hate... Oh, dual Cloak and Daggers is ults. Nice.
I mean, yeah, he's fucked. This feels like the opposite of what we were just doing.
I kind of hate that Cloak and Dagger's auto aim makes it really hard to hit inanimate objects. So if you're up against a Loki or a Moon Knight and you need to take out their little glyphs on the in the level, it's really hard to do so. In a metaphorical sense, hint, it's internet maritime work. What is that? I'm so curious. Huh?
Pirating?
Oh, maybe. Is there actual work to be had there?
I mean, if you're the one posting it.
Oh, maybe. It depends on if that's monetized or not. Most of the stuff I know that would involve internet maritime doesn't pay. It just it's just for funsies.
I mean, maybe ads or something are involved?
I don't find that to be particularly maritime type work.
Magna, thank you for the queef, the giant fucking nasty queef.
Hi,
about-
Magna.
It's actually a tuba playing into a bowl of pudding.
Yeah.
Flap, flap, flap. Nice.
Oh, heal. Oh, thank goodness. He came back to us.
Speaking of heals, I just killed. Oh, fuck, there. Star-Lord came and saved the other one.
Is it?
I mean, I got one of them.
They're all of our bad guys. There you are. Yes.
I wonder what they're gonna do with the cut room when they release Blade. Maybe Dracula's gonna go in his cut room.
Yeah. What happened? Oh, he got bullied into an ult. I need to make this shirt happen.
You do.
Aw, thanks. The thing pushed me away from Namor's ult, so I didn't take any damage.
I blocked their. Oh. He's like, I blocked their entrances and exits. Not important.
How did you block them? Internet
portal.
maritime work?
Yeah,
Just
totally.
kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying. Now I'm just mixing metaphors for fun.
I chose to tell you the pudding story so you would be able to sleep. I mean, there's a part of me. I am so fucking close to this stupid girl. One more round.
You good?
No, I want to go to sleep.
What are you trying to do, even?
I need the last piece on the fucking game board.
Oh, gotcha. And you're
I
Maybe you
want the
just get it.
twerk. I need the twerk.
Get back to twerk.
Or villain. I'm not judging.
I need that fucking cake flap.
oh my god. Somebody took Cloak and Dagger, and they are also a lord in Cloak and Dagger.
That is fair.
I suppose. I guess.
Sir, penny bags.
I mean, tiny testicles are tiny testicles.
Oh, wow.
I'm not the type.
Another way of calling it a coin purse.
Make me who I am today. My family did.
You have coins in yours? Does it taste like
Yes.
pennies? Shouldn't that... Doesn't that mean there's
I think we should ask Teresa.
there's blood where there shouldn't be blood?
30 seconds.
Yeah,
before you start. Get ready.
this
Oh,
is
God
what you
damn it.
get, Magna.
This is the first time I've seen the twerking.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
That old.
This is
Hard.
why I fucking need it.
Hard eyes, motherfucker.
Why are there hearts?
Look at that fucking cake.
This is why I need to be Cloak and Dagger right now, because I can't do the booty slap.
Starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's not the same with Sue.
All you need to do is capture
No,
the
it's really
visual.
not.
Got it?
So Oz, I don't know if I told you this, but apparently on the next,
Together.
the 8th patch for Baldur's Gate, there's going to be cross-platform.
Did you call
Uh-huh.
it the 8th patch?
That's what they're patch 8.0.
I'm
Is
just...
what I meant.
That's a surprising level of granularity from you. From the company, sure, calling it 8th is fine. But from you, hearing you call it 8th patch is kind of weird.
It was literally me just trying not to die at the same time as talk.
Okay. Sure.
But 8.0, they are going to be adding cross-platform. If you would like to play with me, I would enjoy playing with you, even if it's off stream. And I think,
Oh, whoa.
yeah, I know, right? If we want to make this a group thing, I don't know who
Oh,
else would like to
a
play.
Oh,
group
but
oh
thing.
my.
I don't know how many people can play at once because I know there's mods, but I don't know if it works with people or just NPCs for the multiple or big group.
Can NPCs be part of this orgy?
Yes, one of them will be a bear.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense.
Okay.
Also, one of them will be dead. Is that okay?
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, Oz is grief
Can
positive.
it be me?
No, his name. You can call him the Bone Daddy.
I mean, I already got a bone daddy in my life.
I'd hope so. It's a mod, but there's a mod that just changes one character's name to Bone Daddy. And I'd love it. And it's such a stupid mod, but it's mine now.
This Lord Cloak and Dagger, though. Well, how did you get Lord as Cloak and Dagger and be this bad?
Well, you don't have to be good to get Lord necessarily.
It's just you put in time. I understand.
Are there some Lords? Nope. I mean, the real move is to make it so you don't have the Lord thing on, even being a Lord.
Can you do that? Can you
Yeah.
just turn off your portrait?
I'm pretty sure. Because it's just an icon you select.
Okay. Wow. We got.
Traditionally served drinks at orgies. That's true.
I mean, it's dehydrating work sometimes. You gotta
My God.
save
Can
your
we just
moisture.
get triple ulted?
Probably. It's fine. Means they're bereft of resources if we can actually touch the point before we respawn.
Something like that.
Good job.
Thank you for resing, everyone. Oh, their rocket is AFK.
No. Oh, I almost died.
Or he got rezzed at the last second, didn't realize it.
God.
That's funny. That's happened to me too. Where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm alive. Oh, I didn't realize I was alive until I died.
Yeah.
Do
I
we-
mean, same though, same.
Am I even alive though?
Or any of us. Cloak. I swear. Why are you so bad at staying alive? We're doing so good. in the midnight hour. We cried more.
More?
Namor. It's more like it.
No more means no love.
More. Ow.
This has got to be mildly frustrating for them at this point.
Mildly.
Well, we haven't like stopped them from winning. They're just temporarily embarrassed.
They were stomping us until a second ago, essentially.
Yeah. We haven't secured a victory per se. So right now it's more just like, oh, this is super frustrating. We haven't won just yet. Uh-oh. Only boot.
Did he? He really doesn't have to do anything to get his ult off. That's not fair.
I know. He's like one of the
Duh.
only heroes that can just press ult button and then die. Everybody else loses the chance to do their thing.
Yeah.
You can enact it, you can make your ult happen, and then if somebody manages to kill you, it was all
It still
for naught.
persists.
Well, I mean, all
Except
for
for-
naught for
no,
most
yeah,
people.
For
Yeah.
most people, yes.
His should be like invisible ones, where if he dies, it's gone too.
Honestly, I think it would be a little more fair. If that's going to be the norm for most characters, then people will have an expectation on how the game's mechanics work. Like,
Just the fact that like I can get most things stop my ult.
Mhm.
Like, oh yeah, you got stunned, it's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
and it's just like, oh, I hold people for like 3 seconds if they're like 10 feet from me.
I don't think Nomura's gets stopped once he's hit the button.
No.
I suppose that's true. He's channeled all of his power into a great whale.
3, 2, 1. All you need to do
In
is
some ways, I know what
push
that's
the
like.
area. Got it?
What?
You think this is a challenge?
D is just saying he knows a lot about freeing Willy.
That's good. That was
Did I get a genuine laugh from D?
yeah. That
You
was like
did.
maybe one of the funniest things I've ever heard you say. I mean, ancient reference because I don't know who knows the movie Free Willy anymore, but
I do.
I mean, that's fair. I'm just chuffed to have a laugh from D.
and the fact that you said chuffed, that's even funnier.
Do not other people use the word chuffed?
Chuffed is usually chiefly a British component of the English language.
I hear
But-
mostly like Aussies say it.
Okay, well, Aussies speak more British English than Americans do.
That's true.
I like the fact that both Adam and I killed each other literally at the same time.
Mhm.
Made a red-haired version of Ivy in Hero Forge. Nice.
Is it the Ivy from Soul Calibur?
Yes.
So big old titties.
Nice.
Big old bitties.
Yep.
Charo says just as elder gods. True. Sometimes you just need to surround yourself with some very ancient references. Oh, I don't like squirrels.
No.
Mom said I can't get squirreled today.
That's another one that that persists even past death.
Yeah, that one kind of makes sense because it's killable. You can't kill Namor's whale. You can't kill Khonshu's hand rain. It's hands, right? They're
Yeah,
like-
they're like fists.
Yeah, fists that fall down from the sky.
It's really just Iron Fist up there.
Damn it.
Yeah. Good job.
That Squirrel Girl fucked up.
Yeah. She was all alone too.
That's what I'm saying. She fucked up.
Yeah.
They're just hanging out in that room up there. Oh,
I guess so, yeah. It's kind of a weird place to decide to post up. There's somebody low in health and they can't. Oh, it's Stuart.
It was me.
Sorry, I was
was
like,
just
you were at a
walking over.
really bad angle. Try to heal.
I had their Atom and their Rocket on me.
Mhm.
I had my portal, so I wasn't too afraid of dying.
Nice, good job. What a
Aw.
shutout.
Essentially, safer work only because Hero Forge undies are very limited and boots don't go high enough, so I don't need, need some sort of kind of lower garment.
You can always do other stuff too. If you're using Hero Forge, I don't know if you're printing them out, but I've just gotten into something called green stuff, which is good for adding on, especially in small figures.
did you get the thing on us?
Let's find out. Let's find out.
1.
A 2.
A 2, a 3.
30.
Imagine being the voice actor for that owl and being quoted everywhere for generations.
I don't like doing that.
Imagine it.
Yeah, I don't want to imagine it. I'm doing it, and I don't like it anymore.
I need you to
Yes!
hold on to that.
Symbiote Boogie.
Nice, good job. You've done the thing.
Dear Lord, that's some fucking cake. What the fuck?
Some poison cake.
I'm not gonna lie. No way I'm getting it, and I'm not upset by it.
Yeah.
Alright, guys. On that note, I'm gonna go to bed.
Have fun going to bed.
Yeah, I
Yes.
will.
Enjoy. I'm gonna log off myself here for the night.
I'm gonna go practice the forever sleeps.
The forever sleeps.
Practice, though. I'm not gonna.
Oh,
like,
just
commit.
practice. Okay,
Just
that's
practice.
fair.
By the way, D, since I am still able to communicate on your stream, I would
Yes.
like to say my taboo behavior that I shamelessly indulge in is saying whatever comes to mind and not being ashamed of it.
Yeah, honestly, that's pretty taboo. Especially since the advent of the internet. I think having that sort of fearlessness about what you might say, that the fact that that might live forever somewhere on the internet,
Yeah.
that's it's pretty fearless.
It also doesn't hurt that I don't say anything too egregious.
True. If you were a hateful person, this would have come back to you by now.
Yeah,
This is true.
Or discriminating in some way.
I just hate myself.
Wow.
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 DM for this game prints one model for each player. Okay. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, Oz.
Thank-
Good
The
night.
DM should print 4: 1 invisible, 1 unpainted, 1 painted, and 1 backup.
Wow.
That's what I do for people when I print them print them minis. Good night.
All right. Have a good night, gentlemen.
Have a good
Good
night.
night.
Thanks for
Also,
being here.
Crims, I
Yes.
don't. Are we going to be playing Friday night? You think for Repo?
Oh,
I mean,
perhaps. I haven't.
I'd be down, obviously.
Yeah, I haven't spoken with anybody about any of the particulars, but that seems to be a night that everybody is free.
You are my dad. You're my dad. Wookie, wookie, wookie.
You summoned Oz. She's like, Repo?
Well, I had been asking all of you, I'm sure you know, when we wanted to do that next. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to play on Friday night, I'm available. I have no other plans, and I'm actually off this weekend too. So,
Oh, excellent. Yeah,
That's lovely.
sounds good.
yes. All right. Well, as I said, I'm gonna head out. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night. I'm gonna go lurk your stream and paint Worm Man.
Sounds good. Oz says
kissing everything.
says Friday Frights. Hello. Welcome, Raiders, to the top of the show that started some 40 minutes ago. But it's also kind of the top of the show because we prioritized saying hello to some folks and doing some lovely socializing while people were around to do so. Thank you for your patience while we do a soft open on the show. But yes, I believe Friday is probably the best night for all of us. Lurky Birkin, while I slept, thank you for the lurk support. That really helps the algorithm. It's true. Stuart, you're a gentleman and a scholar, not necessarily in that order.
I think of myself as a gentleman and a scoundrel, but I'll take both.
Scoundrel, like that.
Yeah.
I like that, actually. Yeah.
A gentleman and scoundrel. You know, like Han Solo.
Yeah. I have questions for you in regard to tonight's discourse topic.
Of course. Let's go for it.
Could I ask those after a brief AFK break?
Yeah, of course.
All right. I'll be right back, everybody. And more with Stuart. So many questions to ask.
I'll be here.
All right. Be right back.
Hopefully.
I'm a fallen angel. I will to someday grow my wings and fly awake under those stones of your past dread. I'm high.
I think I'm falling in love with mom. Not my mom, but character mom.
Somebody clip that. Oh my god.
Nobody clipped that.
Clip
I'm
that.
clipping it.
Clip it.
God damn it. Oz is all over it. I can feel it. Oh. Need a mosquito?
Mosquito? What's a mosquito?
I just made it up. It's like a mosquito, only it's shaped like a penis. All right, let's go.
What's here? Oh, the breaker. Hi. Oh. Oh, brutal.
I have no offensive sluts.
I've got not the right thing for this guy.
Oh,
Please no.
I'm dangling like
I
a
see you.
dangleberry.
That's it. No, not me too. No.
Oh no.
So much for trying to help these guys.
Oh no. Both you guys got baited. Oh my.
I was being too, I did not respect enough. That was actually pretty hilarious. He's gonna fall for the bait. He's gonna get
Spotted.
deleted right now.
Yep,
Boom!
there he goes.
Single-handedly wiped the whole of us. The shot. Confirmed Damien does not like sucking foot fingers. It's, you know, here's the thing. I've done it. I'll be the first to admit. Live on stream, right here before you, with no shame in my voice. I've done it. Let's try for that little white glowy. I don't know what it is, but I want it. Oh, how did he hurt me? That's so rude. 55 health taken away from me for nothing. Just because I slammed into his behind the wrong way. I didn't know there was a wrong way until it happened. All right.
Problem. Wait, is it just me or does that man now have a head? Is he dead?
What?
Yeah, he doesn't have a head.
Oh my.
Well, ain't that a curious thing? What the hell?
I'll be damned.
These city folks, I don't know. I can't keep up with the fashion.
I seen a lost something. Y'all seen my head?
Weren't you the fellow that was on the train?
Your ghost host with the most, Damien Halme. Welcome. I'm a variety streamer, disruptor of the status quo and reprogrammer of your mind. Breaker of your ruts. Filler? I fill your ruts? Oh no, let's not. Let's not say that one. No. Okay, this part's gross. Look at this. Who designed this? First of all, there's drips coming through that part of the ceiling, and second of all, this water has nowhere to go. This is just gonna pool up. This is. Oh, thank you, Rush. I appreciate your face. Stuart.
See.
Hello. Good to see you.
Hello. Good to see you too. You've never looked better.
Oh, well, I mean, you can say that unironically, and I cannot, because I can't actually see you.
In like a corner, I can't see at the moment.
Oh, okay. My initial question to you is, earlier you mentioned that your one biggest taboo behavior is speaking your mind, saying whatever you feel like saying at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know, have you always been this way, or was this a conscious choice at some point in your life?
It happened around high school.
Okay.
You probably had this happen at some point in your life. Someone just says, "Oh, just be yourself. Just be yourself."
Mm.
Early on, elementary school, junior high, I was a very shy kid. Very often in those situations, I would just kind of sit alone and do origami, read comics, draw by myself.
Mm.
And just one day I got sick of people telling me to be myself, because anytime I was, people just thought I was weird. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. You told me to be myself. Fuck you. I'll do what I want.
Was weird taboo among like your social groupings in high school? Like, did people?
The beginnings, yes.
Okay.
It was more junior high, but eventually I got into choir, Water polo, I was still kind of the weird kid,
Mm.
but eventually stopped caring as much and just started like, oh yeah, this is what I think. And it really infuriates people when you start talking and like not caring what they think.
Right.
Just a lot of like, well, like cursing and slurring at me in certain situations, and me just going, okay, so what else you got?
Mm. I've heard that is one of the most effective ways to combat bullying. Like if somebody's gonna like try to punch you in the
Verbal
playground later on or whatever, but when people try to affect you mentally, if you just don't show that it bothers you, then they're quick to get bored. It's kind of like the human versus human equivalent of playing dead for like a bear attack or something like that.
It works on most people. I did encounter a few people who would just like, oh, he's gonna take it.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, you know me, I like to verbally joust with people.
Yeah.
With like quips and stuff. It's kind of where that came from.
Where do you get that bravery from? Because that can be kind of daunting for some people to have that sort of level of confrontation against somebody else, especially if you know they're trying to be antagonistic to you.
Honestly, I'm not sure where the confidence came from. I was never like a big kid.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been like super skinny. Well, not as much anymore. I'm still not fat, but in water polo in high school, I got super ripped and just like, I know I look good. So I was like, oh, cool, I have confidence now, whatever. You can say whatever you want, and I don't give a fuck. I can do 100 push-ups without breaking a sweat.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I just wanted to have fun with my life. I got tired of being upset all the time. And just said, fuck it. Like, if I don't like something, I'm not going to do it. I did have a lot of anger issues in high school, usually towards family and like situations that I could not control.
Right, sure.
Not necessarily like trying to bully someone, but just like, well, this sucks. My dad just he cheated on my mom. I don't know what to do, so I'm going to punch a wall.
I see.
But also, I do have a lot of friends from high school, Oz being one of them, that kind of helped boost my confidence as a person. Just as soon as I got accepted for being a little bit weird, it's like, oh, this can be okay with people? Let's find them.
Yeah.
And the fastest way to do that is just to put your freak flag out.
Right? Meet your tribe. You won't know who your tribe is unless you're being authentic to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm told very often nowadays when I meet new people, is like, oh, you just kind of really jump right into it. I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will ask you weird questions, and either I learn very quickly I should stop asking you these questions, or you just get permission to say weird shit to me now.
Right.
It's like, oh, this employee is apparently into getting choked. That's interesting.
I don't know. Cool, I find that one more common than people like to admit. Like
same.
I definitely feel like there are certain social taboos that we have around expected behavior as far as intimacy and the way we carry ourselves in our private lives, that a great number of people believe, well, I'm different, but everybody else is pretty normal. I'm kind of crazy. I'm kind of freaky. I'm kind of spicy. And, well, hello, Crims. But everybody else is much more neurotypical and much more vanilla when it comes to intimacy or interpersonal connections or what you do in your own individual time when you're alone and nobody else can watch you. The fact of the matter is, I think a lot more people have what we would consider spicy proclivities, and we just don't talk about it enough to realize that's actually pretty normal. Choking, I think, is one of those. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say I've met a lot of people because I love having conversation about sexuality in a non-sexual way.
Sure.
It's like, oh, that's cool little factoid.
Yeah.
Like talking to someone about sexuality and like their stuff without trying to get in their pants is pretty great.
Yeah, just for the informational part or the connecting between two humans and understanding somebody's stories part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is easier talking to females about it because guys kind of get weirded out.
Yeah, I feel like guys associate talking about personal sexuality things, whether alone or with a partner, as kind of like locker room talk. And so a lot of people are not really like for that unless they are the sort of like boastful type where they believe social clout requires a certain amount of self-reporting on what you do in your sexy times. But that's pretty rare these days.
I've also grown up, like, later on in life, at least. My stepmom was a dominatrix for a time.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. She had a dungeon in the house and would invite people over. Usually it just involved them cleaning the house.
Yeah.
Being told dumb and stuff, apparently. I never saw anyone. But it was just very much like, oh yeah, this guy is weird, he likes this. Our toilet's clean now, though.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. Also, being in high school, there's the whole meme of like band or like theater people being kind of freaky.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a meme.
It's also semi-true.
Right.
Also, just being around artists and punks all my life, like the actual punk genre, not just like the music.
Mm-hmm.
Like my uncle, like, oh yeah, my uncle's got face tattoos and a criminal record. Cool. And just being told like, hey, fuck authority, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a vibe.
That helps with my, or helped with me, not giving a fuck what people thought.
Right.
Sometimes to the detriment of the people raising me.
Detriment, you say?
Because I would tell them, I was thinking, they're like, you're not supposed to use our things on us.
I see.
But yeah, this pissed me off. Why the fuck do you do that? Well, you see, I'm like, no. This isn't a question that you answer. This is a, yeah, you're right, I'm sorry moment.
Right.
And so few people can do that nowadays, or at least from the older generation.
I think it's one of those things that's getting better over time, right?
Yeah.
Newer generations are better about that kind of level of openness.
Very much sorry, that was my bad. Hopefully you can forgive me. If you can't, I understand, kind of thing.
Exactly. Being open about where things are different or weird and accepting of that as well.
What about you? I will say you kind of have the same habit of just kind of saying what's on your mind or what you're thinking.
Yeah. I'll explain the why. Let me catch up with. I see some chat that I haven't acknowledged yet, and then I'll sort of share my reasoning behind why I speak my mind as openly as I do in this era of do you or do you not. It's funny. I feel like almost everybody ought to feel more open about speaking their mind, and yet it's weird how little we do. Krim says, I'll be willing to chat about my stuff with you at some point on stream if you like. With that said, I don't have time tonight. No problem. Sleep is also very critical, and I hope that you prioritize that this evening instead of staying up to converse with us. Be good to your body first, and then be good to your mind.
I have the convenience of being West Coast.
Yeah, you have more flexibility of schedule.
That too, yeah.
What was that?
I said, yeah, that too.
Yeah. As Dee is aware, my wife and I are both poly and also fit into the swinger category, among other things. I have no problem talking about it, but like I said, I don't have the time tonight. Yeah, no worries.
I didn't know he was poly as well.
Yeah. Oh, as well. This is new information about you that I did not know.
I consider myself poly, but he is not. So I just choose to be monogamous.
Okay. Because that is her preferred boundaries on the relationship.
Yes. Though we have talked about it, and my whole thinking is I'm too old to try and get another girlfriend, kind of thing.
There's definitely like a matter of resources that I feel that people don't seem to understand when it comes to living that lifestyle, because they're I think I might die. Whoops. I've never seen this. Yeah, I think I'm dead. I am dead. Well, whoops. Yeah, poly is one of those things that with the right money, time, and other resources works in a certain way if both parties are accommodating for the lifestyle. But it's also not necessarily the case that you have those feelings and have all of those resources at the same time. So that's where things get different. The typical poly lifestyle is never a typical thing. It's different per household because you have to consider what can we do, what are the feelings and emotions involved with us, what's possible versus not possible in each household.
Teresa gave me permission at one point, and I'm like, yeah, thank you, but I'm not going to take that.
Yeah.
Partially because, like I said, I feel like it's too much work, man.
Yeah. I've always thought of that when it comes to cheaters. I don't have the proclivity to go and have like extra marital or extra relations, but one thing that always astounded me for the people that do is if that's your vibe, if that's how you like to do it, first of all, that can be really painful to your partner. But second of all, like, where do you find the time and energy and money and everything? Because that can be a real drain. When I think about, how could I incorporate a secret life that allows for another person to, be an intimate part of me and my time? I couldn't see what resources could I possibly reallocate to make that happen. I'm already like spread thin as it is. But I guess some people have a lot more freedom in that regard.
I can see it, for me at least,
Mm-hmm.
if Teresa was more interested in like maybe having a third or like that kind of thing. But
sure,
if it was just me wanting to have like someone else, it's like, no, I know that would eventually upset her as well.
Yeah.
But I also have what I need with her too, which is nice.
That's a big thing too. Like, even if you feel like you might have an alternate idea of what your full identity means, if you're still satisfied in every way you can think of with your partner, then I don't know that you need to be foraying into spicy or taboo directions with your relationship if what you've got is already taking care of everything for you.
She's also very flexible about me, like, not in a relationship, but
I, like, once again, going back to saying what I think, if I see someone attractive, I will flirt with them even in front of her.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I'll get the people like, I'm going to tell your wife. I'm like, honey, I'm flirting with this person. She goes, cool, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. We actually used that fact to pull a prank on my boss at one point.
Oh.
So, my boss, great woman, great, like, leader, very respectful. Like, I don't know if I would work at GameStop without her there.
Yeah.
But one day, my ex and my friend, her husband, are coming to visit. And I just have to stop in for work or something. And we're all in the car. I go, hey, I'm going to have her come in with me. I'm going to go up to my boss and go, hey, just don't tell Teresa you saw me in here with her. And she goes, what? I'm like, it's okay. She's a friend. And I'm just holding her hand and like doing that kind of thing. It's like, and my boss is like, okay.
Wow.
And what he didn't know is Teresa and the other husband, our friend, are in the car waiting for about 3 minutes and then walking in after.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, hey, Teresa. And she's like, who's that?
Yikes.
Then we're just like, nah, we're just messing. This is my ex, this is my friend, blah, blah. My boss is like, Stuart, I didn't know what to do.
That's intense.
It was very amusing. I like jokes like that where it's very shocking and no one actually gets upset or hurt.
Yeah, you can shock and awe the person who's the target of your joke, but at the same time, like nothing that just happened has any impact. So you're not actually directly affecting them. Let me catch up a chat here real quick because I'm a few lines back. Krim says, yes, Stuart, I've been poly for almost 10 years. Oh, maybe 8. Troa says, I've been in a few thruples. It can be intense. I could imagine that the emotions involved, because society doesn't prepare us for that sort of engagement, can be difficult. If you don't know sort of how to establish good ground rules and to make sure that everybody's comfortable with the situation, then that can be frustrating. But that's true with couples too, right? There's no reason to point that out as far as like that being a poly specific problem. Couples have that problem too. I had that problem. That's why I had to end my first marriage, just because there were boundary issues with just 2 people involved. Maintaining multiple relationships is a lot of effort. I've also been in 2 thruples as well. Liko says, poly confuses me. All the more power to people who are in a relationship where it's fine. I think it's one of those things where like many things in my life, if you have power, time, and money, certain things make sense. If you do not, then they're much more frustrating and complex and difficult to maintain. So I get why some people are capable of doing it, why some people think it's not really feasible. For me, it would be one of those things where if I had the proclivity to want to do that kind of thing, I would need to seriously consider where is my time and money going, because I would be probably removing those things from some part of my life to make something else happen. And does that make sense for me? Whereas other people might have no difficulty making those choices. Same reason why I don't have any tattoos, even though I really like tattoos. I've never had a point in my life where a surfeit of money has come through and I said, you know what? Ink in my skin matters more than some other goal right now or some other thing that I need to fund right now. And I love tattoos. I would love to have some. I just don't come from a background where that makes sense. I think that's how poly is for a lot of people. Krim says it requires a lot of communication and trust with your partners. My wife would be the first person to hit on another woman before me. Nice. Also, D,
I find...
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, for poly, I do find that you kind of have to have one of the partners be bi in some way, at least. It helps out a lot from what I've heard.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's part of it. Is the idea behind being poly usually is best explored if there's some sort of nuance where you both are attracted to the same type of person and could add a third person if that's your inclination. But that's not the only type of poly out there either. Of course, there are options where both of you are engaged in other relationships that are completely separate and non-engaged with your primary partner, in which case it doesn't matter what your partner's orientation is. What I think that does is it removes a lot of the jealousy factor and boundary factors if you are able to keep your primary partner directly engaged in your personal intimate life at all times. Some people prefer that sort of level of connection versus the idea that you would disconnect from your partner at various times to let them engage with other people. That'll depends on how independent versus codependent your partner is, or I shouldn't say codependent, just independent versus dependent in a relationship. Liko says, D, I resubbed to 14. Welcome back. If you ever want, well, I don't know. In all my spare time, I shouldn't probably make claims that I have time to offer to you to play. Need a healer friend? Usually. Right now, I'm leveling my last DPS job. No, yeah, basically. Pictomancer's my last DPS job, so healer would make it so that I get instant Q. So yes, I generally do need a healer friend. Krim says it does help a lot that my wife is bi, but it's not really required. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
never required, but just helpful.
Yeah. Again, depending on how the poly relationship is formed and what the needs of each individual are. Tro says, not particularly, none of my thruples included women. Fair. Yeah, but even then, I mean, your partner's proclivities towards who they're attracted to does matter. So, yeah, one way or the other, that can definitely be a factor or a variable to weigh in. Krim says, her and I have had completely separate partners from each other. Yeah, I think that's also as normal as any other, well, as far as demographics go, I'd probably be making stuff up if I said I knew what type of poly was the most popular versus least. But I definitely know people that are more engaged in what it's like to be an individual around people, and that they like to be an individual around different people. That's part of what poly is to them, versus folks that would want to try their darndest to include their partner at all times. That's a very different type of poly, right?
I think I'm the kind who would want to involve my partner.
Yeah. Liko says, I was asking for right now. Oh, and then I queued up and left you in the dust, didn't I? I'm sorry. Do you want to do some roulettes after this one together? Because I'm down. I don't know what data center you're on. So I am on Behemoth. And then I forget. I was Behemoth part of Primal, I think. I don't do nearly enough cross data center sort of stuff to keep that in mind. But yeah, look up Behemoth and see if we're able to group up without incident. Thank you, Troa, for having that sort of information just ready and accessible in your brain to share with anybody who needs it. I definitely prefer I include my wife. I can understand that. My concern with people that try to understand poly from an external perspective is that they might see one person's explanation of what poly means and expand that out to include everybody else and say, well, this is what everybody wants. And so that's why I think it's important that we talk about, you know, the differences between what some people prefer versus others, and that there really isn't a difference in quality between them as long as both partners agree. Like, do two partners spend the majority of their time with other people? I don't think that that's negative as long as that's agreed upon, that that's what people like. But some people might look at that and say, oh, well, you know, my version of poly, or what I understand poly to be, is more inclusive and more comfortable for both people because it includes my primary partner at all times. And that's a good thing. It can be good if that's what everybody wants, but if both partners really do want more free time where they're separate from each other, where it makes sense to be I don't know what I'm looking for. Just makes sense that they each have their time with their primary partner and their time away from their primary partner. I know people who are actually very neuro vanilla or relationship vanilla that take time off from each other. I know a married couple, they have a kid, and they're very, very normative. They're religious and traditional and, you know, your usual American tradcon sort of folk, but younger, so not like far conservative. And they take vacations from each other regularly where they don't hang out with each other. They're not hooking up with other people, but they also don't want to spend all their time with each other. They thrive taking breaks from being a mate or being a partner or being a parent, because in doing so, they come back refreshed. I would not like that. I don't particularly like the idea of taking breaks from parenthood specifically, because I like being a parent. I've always wanted to be, not always, but since I was maybe in my mid-teens, being a parent was part of my definition of what I wanted to do in my life. So if you said, do you ever want to take a break just so you can sort of recenter yourself? I'd be like, parenting is recentering myself. To me, I guess my point is having a value judgment on whether you're directly engaged with your partner in a poly lifestyle or whether you take breaks from each other and you are a separate individual more often than not. There's nothing that's better than another thing. There's just what suits the relationship versus what doesn't, right?
That also might be another reason I declined Teresa's like offering of being a poly relationship, is because her stipulation was that she hear nothing about the other partner. And I'm like, but I want to involve you with it, kind of thing. And if you're not into that, then there's kind of less of a point.
Yeah. And that's going to be different from person to person too. There isn't going to be a skeleton key that makes the most sense for all humankind.
Don't call me.
Krim says, even though I definitely prefer that he includes his wife, it's just not how it always works out. Yeah, I mean, logistics also play some sort of a factor in the matter too, right? Tro says, one of my thruples, one of us was in the Navy and would regularly be on duty for months at a time. That's got its own sort of pressure, right? So there can be any number of reasons for it. Very true, very true. Krim says, my wife and I honestly just sort of mold ourselves to what the other partners prefer. Interesting. So you're both like people pleaser types, perhaps?
I hope it's people.
Wait, what does that mean?
There's a lot of weird stuff on the internet. I'll show you later.
Oh, okay. I don't know much about the internet, so yeah, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead and show me stuff.
I don't think I can find it without getting viruses, though.
No. Yeah, definitely make sure you have some sort of a dark web enabled machine, right?
I mean, who doesn't?
I don't. I've read that if you're interested in the dark web, you probably need to make your own computer for it. And I was like, oh, that sounds expensive. Just another one of those things that like rich people can appreciate. I'm like, I don't know if I have that kind of money, time, resource.
I mean, how are you going to get into like horrible things like assassinations and stuff?
I was thinking more in terms of like buying kidneys and stuff online, and like trying to resell them, because you know the U.S. healthcare system is so awful. Like, why not be able to provide an alternative resource for folks? Be like, hey, I know that it sucks. Like the insurance game is really bad right now. Look at the whole Luigi scandal. And, you know, what if I provided an off-market side brand for you guys. I found these great kidneys online using my special computer for black market.
I mean, fair.
Let me see. Liko says, I want a relationship where we can both be happy. Oh, whoops. I'm standing that. We can both be happy independently, but enjoy spending time together. Some people like that, and some people feel like that's really othering. So yeah, that's a very, like, who you find as a partner matters so much as far as that's concerned. Some people really like independence. Some people find independence to be like you're separating yourself from your partner in some way that they can't fathom. Why would you choose to spend time doing something else alone if you didn't think of me as your primary, interest and person you'd want to spend the most time with? But that totally depends on the relationship, right? Some relationships, they barely come together, and some they're together all the time. They couldn't see it any other way. It's just, yeah, personal preference. That has to be sussed out between every person that you meet that you're interested in. How does the dance work out between you guys? Having time with the boys, but don't engage in other relationships. I get some people do poly, but I would break up in an instant if I was in that sort of relationship. Yeah, I mean, that's true too. Some people feel jealousy or a sense of, this is not acceptable behavior. And so I don't think it's for everybody. In fact, I really think poly is probably for very few people. But the people it is for, it makes a whole lot more sense than trying to fit yourself into the understanding of the world that everybody that wants to be in a monogamous relationship thrusts upon other folks as sort of like the way of living. If you look at how normative people live and you say, that's great, I just feel like there's going to be something that I'm lacking all the time for the rest of my life, and I'll have to just concede that that's going to not be a part of my life. That kind of sucks. Hopefully you find somebody that allows for that freedom for you to engage in the things that keep you out of the normative center of our culture, and you do the same for your partner or partners as well, so that everybody really gets what they ultimately want the most, instead of just sort of conceding because conceding is easy or comfortable for a lot of people. I couldn't do poly, but I'm fine with breaks as long as it's not leading to cheating. Again, I mean, cheating is defined by how you decide to live your relationship, right? So cheating really is you're breaking the boundaries of the relationship that you're in. It's not about a certain type of behavior. It's about it, whether or not you meet the expectations of intimacy that your partner and you have set together, or partners and you have set together.
You can still cheat in a polyamorous relationship.
Yeah. You can follow rules or cheat, and it all just depends on how you have decided that what everybody involved wants or doesn't want gets what they want or do not want. If you are hurting other people's feelings and breaking their hearts because you're not giving them what they felt was the most secure solution to the relationship, that's a problem, right?
D, I'm going to ask you a question my coworker asked me. Feel free to not answer, because I don't think it's going to break any rules, but would you consider yourself more of an S or an M?
An S or an M, as far as like the S&M.
Would you consider yourself more of a dominant person or a more passive receptive?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and I think that the proclivity of most people is to actually be in a relationship where being S and or M sort of matters quite a lot to their identity with their partner. The fact of the matter is, for me, I don't like either of those metrics, honestly. I really don't. So for me,
it's a spectrum.
Sorry?
I'd say it's more of a spectrum.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a spectrum. I would say for me, where I land on the spectrum is I feel a strong desire, a strong impulse to live in a relationship, or if I had my ideal relationship, to be with somebody who was equivalent to me, not equal, because equal is sometimes damaging. If you say we both should do the same amount of physical labor in a relationship, or we both should child rear as much as the other person, that's not necessarily beneficial because one person might have a deeper interest in doing it than the other person. Or we should have sex as much as I want to have sex. Maybe the other person wants less or wants more. That's not, then equal does not serve, but equivalent. You know, do you get as much sleep as you need? Do I get as much sleep as I need? Do you get as much intimacy as you need? Do I get as much intimacy as I need? That's equivalent without looking at equal. And when it comes to the relationship dynamics, whether somebody should be more, I make the decisions around here and I want to dominate, or versus I want somebody to sort of take over, tell me what to do. I feel most comfortable when I can give up that level of control and autonomy. I prefer relationships where the two of us are equal shareholders. We both make decisions together. We talk about things. We both trade power and submission together. Sometimes we give up control for each other. Sometimes we take control for each other. And we're able to switch off in ways that support both parties all the time. If I was with somebody that was completely always trying to take over all the time, because that's what they felt comfortable doing all the time, they didn't want me to ever have power or say, I would be uncomfortable. If somebody always thrust responsibility of taking control on me all the time, I would feel uncomfortable with that as well. So my greatest desire personally, my ideal relationship, is one in which I share an equality with somebody. Either we switch often, or most of the time, what I think I would prefer is neither one of us dominates and neither one of us acts passively. We both are sort of equally engaged at all times, and most things come to fruition in a relationship due to active collaboration versus time sharing, a dom versus sub sort of idea, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I gave similar response, not quite as eloquent, but because sometimes I was like, I want to be the one making decisions, but a lot of times like, I want to be babied right now.
Sure.
It goes back and forth for me, at least.
Yeah.
Glad to know. So, any of you out there who's hoping for sub ED, sorry, or dom ED?
Yeah, I'm egalitarian D. I want us to both have equal footing most of the time, and I don't want to switch back and forth. That equals 50%. In other words, I don't want to be like 10% half the time and 90% half the time. That to me is too erratic. I really like to be 50%, 100% of the time. Which, I don't know. That to me just makes it feels the most comfortable to me. Krim says, if a person prefers to interact with both of us, awesome. If they just like one of us, that way, cool. You guys do your thing. I'll be over here being a nerd. I'm happy if my wife and partners are happy, and that's what matters most to me. I do appreciate that component of some poly relationships, the idea that your deepest interest in your partner is that they have what completely fulfills them. And if that's you, cool. If that's not you, cool. You just want to see your partner have maximal happiness. That part, if you could put away all the drama and relationship boundary issues and jealousy and all of that, if it was just, I want to see maximal happiness, then I think that's where it works the best. That's where it's functional at the highest level. If anyone wants to come be a nerd with me, have at it. Liko says, that said, I'm not in any relationship at all, so the idea of being in multiple is like, oh, thank you for the self-care. And the save. I don't know what to do with that one, Toady, but I will at least self-care for you.
Save the world, D.
Although that's the last of my water. I need to fill my water filter because I don't have more clean water to drink, but I'll at least hydrate with the very last bit that I have. Thank you. Oh, how far back am I? The idea of it being multiple is like, how do people get multiple? I can't even get one. That's the thing that I'm saying is like, I feel like polyamory can be sort of like, it's not an easily adopted lifestyle unless you have surplus resources. If you don't even have one partner, how could you consider having poly? If you don't have the money to take one person out regularly, how could you consider taking multiple people out? If you don't have free time to take one person out on dates or have intimate time, how could you include a second or third person to that? Yeah, it's definitely.
I have seen people abuse it.
What's that?
I have seen people abuse it though.
Abuse it?
Yeah, so it was college. I knew a guy who was quote unquote poly, but he was really using it just to have multiple girlfriends buy him multiple presents.
Jeez. Okay.
It was one of those like, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna have I told her my birthday's on this day, and I told her my birthday's on this day.
I mean, that's just abusive though. That's not poly, that's just selfish.
Yeah. But no, the girls were happy they were in a poly relationship.
Oh, okay.
So it was a guy taking advantage of them.
Yeah. Krim says, I'm generally very introverted and honestly need alone time from my wife or partners alike. Oh, there you go. Same, that's why I need someone I get in a relationship to be independent. Yeah, different people I feel have different requirements as far as dependency and independency, if that's a word. Independence. Why is dependence? Oh, I guess dependency isn't a word either. Wow, I'm just making up all sorts of neologisms tonight.
I mean, all words are made up, D. You could make your own.
I suppose that's true. Lily Ruka, Likos, is this you? Tell me this is you, and then I'll accept the invite to the party. If you've found me, if you've properly cyberstalked me.
Crims, I have a question. Are most of your wife's partners male or female, or do they not really have? It's like, is that a thing you've talked about? I was curious how it works for you. With a female, there's the issue of, hopefully they don't get pregnant.
Yeah, true. That's going to be a sexual marketplace, to use a red pill analogy. A sexual marketplace problem that I think can't go away, no matter how progressive or open or leftist you are. There's always the concept that there is one particular sex that can go around and have lots and lots of sexual activity, and it doesn't necessarily lock you down in the same way, maybe just financially. And the financial part is really just a legal consideration versus somebody else who will actually sacrifice potentially their body in crazy ways and will be forced to be a primary caregiver to children that you procreate if things go awry. So there is a disparity that almost can't be solved for unless you start involving, even with birth control though. Birth control measures, any sort of contraceptive measures are also somewhat there's a disparity there. You know, when one person engages in contraception versus the other person, there's a give and take. The person who is trying to prevent pregnancy will always do so at some level of sacrifice versus the other person. So you really have to have that be a conversation with your partner, I think, 100%. Krim says poly is 100% not for everyone at all. Probably not for most people, but when it works, it works. Poly makes sense for some people. Breaks my brain trying to understand it, but so does like interesting goth girls. One of my friends has. I mean, I'm there too. I don't know how to explain it, but normative girls are okay, but goth girls are significantly better almost all the time. That's just how the world works for me, my brain. I don't need to get in. I don't need to get it to know it's there and be fine with it. I mean, yeah, it's me with like foot fetishists and that sort of thing. How do you make that stuff into a world in which you exist, and feet, which don't do anything on their own except help people walk, suddenly become sexualized or eroticized? No clue, but if that happens to you, I'm not gonna.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue against it or say that that can't happen that way. Sure, just let it happen.
There's very few things that I will be like, hey, you probably shouldn't like that.
Yeah,
Usually
most of those
involving-
have laws against them, and usually has to do with consent.
The one that doesn't, that I have met someone involved in this kind of thing, is fecal stuff.
Yeah. That's I guess consent or no, that one's just sort of like there's a medical concern there.
It was one of those things like, I did not want to know this. Like, usually I'm okay hearing your stuff, but now I have to feel concerned for you.
Yeah. I would just be concerned to make sure that everything's going in the most health preservative fashion possible, that nobody's going to get lasting damage to their body.
Also, the fact that they would not tell their partners that what they were into for a while.
That's I think that's bad. I like wearing stuff on my sleeve. If I'm going to be in a new relationship, what was that?
This guy was kind of a scumbag.
I see. I think being in a new relationship, and I was this way with Oz, is you share everything that could be detrimental right up front, so that you give the person that you're about to engage in a deeper relationship with the maximum amount of control and choice as to whether that's what they want to sign on for. Yeah. Krim says cheating is definitely defined differently among other people and can happen in polyamory. I think just between two monogamous people, cheating is something that is defined by the people involved and not by anybody else. You should never use an external definition of cheating. You should always talk with your partner and decide something that works for both of your sensibilities. And you should always cohere to the more strict standard, or somebody is going to get hurt.
Sometimes physically.
Yeah, maybe. Liko says, how do I get into this voice call? Oh, you know what, Stuart? Can we pop over to my server so Likos can join us as well? Yeah. Be right there. Be right back.
Hi, Likos.
What a powerful intro. Hi, Likos.
I forgot to turn that off.
No, how dare you apologize. I prefer that that's how you introduce yourself to the stream.
I missed it.
Yeah, it was a music sting, a very epic one at that.
Nice.
Teresa says,
Teresa was actually asking how to get a custom intro when she joins her chat. She's like, why does it keep telling me this?
Wait, who?
Teresa.
Oh.
Anytime she joins the chat, it's like, she has not yet made a intro.
Yeah, we just need to have a talk, whether that's AV, just the audio, just the visual, whether it's an image, a GIF, a movie, It doesn't matter what it is. Troa has like a whole full screen overlay plus an audio component plus my chatbot says something that announces his introduction. That's probably like one of the highest level bot programmings I can do. It really just depends on how Teresa wants to express herself when she first talks in chat.
Probably something with Game of Thrones and dragons, if I had to guess.
Sure. Well, we can decide on that together.
Maybe we'll make it like a surprise for her one day.
I don't think it's a surprise thing. I think it needs to be a conversation so that she gets exactly the intro that she wants, because it's a perk of being a ghost.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Tro says sadism and masochism are not really dominant or submissive. That's true. When I said, I think I started to answer the question inappropriately and started to talk in terms of dominance and submission, but sadism and masochism, I think, was your initial question, right? Am I more into S or M?
Yeah.
Versus.
That's what I liked what you discussed more, honestly, but that's what my coworker had asked.
Yeah.
And it made me like actually think about it for once.
Yeah. Frankly, for me, when it comes to sadism and masochism, I personally don't have an appetite for pain or discomfort. So I don't
like. It doesn't
like.
necessarily mean pain, does it? It just means who's in charge and who's taking the lead.
No, sadism and masochism are usually some sort of negative component. There's usually some sort of either a mistreatment or a level of discomfort or.
Yeah, sadism is like you want to be beaten or like name called, and masochism is you want. Sadism is you want to do the beating and name calling. Masochism is you want to receive being beaten or like name called and shit like that, like being degraded in public.
Yeah,
I always thought that was a part of it, but I also thought it was very much like who's in charge during sex kind of thing.
No, that's definitely more of like a top versus bottom thing, or like a sub versus dom thing. And not does not really have to do with sadism, masochism. Sadism and masochism are both generally you have adverse components that you want to accept because you like inflicting a certain amount of pain or discomfort either on yourself or on other people. Me personally, I really don't like pain and discomfort. I don't like it on myself. I don't like to watch it happen to other people. I don't even like when somebody does something that is in service to me but is uncomfortable for them, which is a far lower component. Like, that's not really sadism or masochism, but I just don't like people even being like moderately inconvenienced to do something for my benefit. So I like everything to either be mutually comfortable or inclusive. I just like comfort. I like comfort for my partner. I like comfort for me. I don't want somebody to wear like uncomfortable clothes because I find them attractive. I would find somebody I'm interested in much more attractive if they're comfortable. Like if they feel like, oh God, I could just like relax and be completely human with what I'm wearing right now. I'd rather that than them trying to wear something very sexy that itches or binds or whatever. That's
cool.
That's how I am.
I'm just glad I don't have to wear anything sexy for you.
Yeah, you don't. I like you just the way you are.
Aw, I almost believed it.
I still believe that. Yeah. I am being serious.
I can see straight through your lies.
Likos, you said earlier, I'm submissive doesn't mean I want to have pain inflicted on me. Yeah, I think we made that distinction now.
Yeah.
Krim says, we do visit lifestyle clubs and I'd be considered a pleasure dom. As Dee stated earlier, I'm a people pleaser and could do most of what someone asks of me, but only if that's what they ask of me. Gotcha. Generally speaking, in a dom-sub relationship, I feel as if the sub actually has more of the power in a way, as they're usually the person setting the limits. Not only are they the person setting the limits, but I would say, and this is maybe just from my own personal experience in relationships that have like a dom sub mechanic, I feel like subs generally are the person that sets the energy expectations, and then the dom has to match that energy input. Subs generally tend to be energy low, i.e. they don't put a lot into a relationship, and that for me, who is so strongly egalitarian, it rankles me a little bit because I feel like one person is doing so little and involved in such little, whereas the dom's requirements are to keep the pace, set the tone, establish the level of engagement, and do most of the active involvement in the relationship. That's not necessarily true for every dom sub situation, but I feel like the sub gets a certain amount of freedom because they get to sort of say, dom, it's up to you, and the dom says, okay, I will do my best to make sure we're both having a good time. In other words, the dom has to work and the sub gets to take the time off. And I know that's probably a misreading of the situation, but me as an external person to the dom sub relationship mechanic, I feel uncomfortable with it because I feel like subs get so much benefit for so little input, whereas the dom has to maintain a certain level of control and composure and keep the pace and the energy as part of their mental, what's the word I'm looking for? Their mental maintenance on the situation. Sub can sort of let go. Tro says the term would be equitable, not equal. Yes, I prefer equitable relationships and not equal, because equal is never properly equal, right? Krim says
I'm kind of sad Haley's not in this conversation. I bet they would have some insightful things knowing the stuff we've talked about.
Darn, I would really enjoy if she were free. Can you check and see if she's available to chat? I'd be curious
I think she's modding right now.
know her insight. Okay.
I'm gonna pop out real quick and
sure
send it.
I'll continue to catch up with chat. Crims says, wait, where am I? Crap. I'm so far behind. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm trying my best. Any dom who says otherwise, I know it's one of those nights because Likos is here. I always blame Likos.
Wow.
You're welcome.
I'll see myself out.
No, stay. I need that. You're the reason why my content is so good, honestly. Any dom who says otherwise and feels they have all the control, they're just an asshole. I mean, that's probably fair, but also some subs I feel like give it up so that they can be pillow princesses. So, and I don't know. That's, again, probably me being unfair. Tro says to that question I used to answer, why only have half the fun? Yeah, absolutely. I thought the Teddy may have been into the poly or sharing a bit, but big no. He kind of gets jealous a little at times. In fact, definitely a new experience for me and kind of adorable, honestly. Some people like jealousy. A little bit of jealousy when played just right makes you feel valuable, right? But that's not necessarily the case for everybody. Hey, Silvos, welcome on in. We're talking, well, our topic was about what's taboo that you engage in that other people don't, or other people find reprehensible or pearl clutching. But we're getting into the weeds in a lot of especially poly and S&M sort of relationship conversation as it is. So that's where we are. Welcome on in. Yeah, I think jealousy can be good as long as both partners in a relationship or multiple partners in a relationship all sort of agree that it's endearing and not frustrating and super limiting or creates violence in the situation. Likos, you've said my issue is everyone I fall for isn't interested in me. Oh, honestly, I've been there. I've been there a number of times. I've definitely had that unrequited emotion sort of situation. And on a rare occasion, and in fact, on one special occasion, I had somebody who I figured would always be unrequited all of my life show a little bit of interest and then rescind it. And that's
oh, that sucks.
That's worse. That's worse.
Yeah.
I'd really rather somebody just say, hey, you know what? not really for me. Like, we're not really compatible. I'm sorry. Then rather say, well, maybe let me open the door here and give you some hope. That's created some really negative situations. Yeah. Toady says, I don't have the energy for people, let alone multiple. I mean, hermit's a thing too. As long as you engage in really good personal care, I don't know that relationships necessarily need to fill a gap. In fact, I would argue that more people would probably be successful in relationships with other people if at first they made sure that they had the full amount of care and support for themselves as possible. They've got their full infrastructure. There's a strong undercarriage built up, a strong infrastructure there, so that in the event of a breakup or just being single for a while, you're perfectly happy and perfectly taken care of by yourself with your own needs.
It's funny you say that. I've actually had a lot of people say the exact opposite.
Oh.
That relationships will never happen if you wait until you are ready. You just have to go for them.
Oh.
Which I highly disagree with.
Yeah,
I am very in line with you on this.
Yeah, I don't know if that's healthy, because I think that can create a situation in which you've forced somebody to engage with you when you're really not a good partner. And the other part of it is that while I agree that maybe if an opportunity strikes, maybe don't wait because you're looking for the perfect opportunity. I could understand like sort of that side of things. I also do feel like if you are sacrificing or ignoring your own infrastructure of care for yourself, you're going to be maybe not the best partner for that person. And you're asking a lot of them to say, hey, I'm prioritizing the us before the me. I hope you're okay eating a not fully baked cookie. I might give you salmonella here, but I hope that's all right.
Funny thing is, they say that. Oh my god, I've heard some really stupid advice before. The one in particular that I'm thinking of right now is they literally said, "Go into a relationship, focus on you, don't focus on them. Just do what you need to in a relationship, and if it works out, it works out." And it's like that. So you're saying go into a relationship and don't even try.
Yeah, that sounds bad too. Like, it sounds like they've got the idea of focus on your own infrastructure, which I agree with, but they also put the cart before the horse by saying, go be with somebody first and then focus on your infrastructure, to which I say that sounds kind of selfish.
Yeah.
Maybe do both if you have the opportunity and the other person says, yes, I'm okay with you the way you are now. You might say, okay, well, I'm not fully baked yet. I have stuff to do. And they say, that's fine. But then don't ignore them, because they also have requirements, right? So you say, how can I feed into you? How can I feed into me? And how can I keep that up for as long as possible? That to me sounds like the perfect relationship, is one in which you care about your partner and you show them that you care about yourself, because if they're going to date you, they probably care about you, so they want you to care about you, but not at the detriment of you ignore them.
Hey, I think it probably just comes because going to my dad for a second, my dad's the kind of person who just cannot imagine existing without being in a relationship.
I'm
There's
kind of that way.
that I know who they need their self-validation to be others giving them validation.
Yeah.
They cannot find pleasure in themselves. They cannot find pride in themselves.
I'm a little bit that way. I kind of get your dad.
See, I'm the exact opposite. If other people are trying to tell me that they're proud of me and stuff, it's like, nah, you're lying. It needs to come from deep within. I simply do not trust others when they say that they actually enjoy my company and stuff.
That's good.
If I don't enjoy my own company, then why would others?
Yeah. No, that's good. And I agree with that to some degree too. So maybe I'm kind of a mix of the two. While I do like external validation, I feel like if I'm not satisfied with who I am or where I am, people's interpretations of me fall on deaf ears. People can say, "Oh, you're really cute." If I don't feel cute, then I disagree, and I just can't accept their compliment. Or if they think anything positive about me, if I don't feel it within myself, I can't participate. Yeah. I can't receive that compliment. Yeah. Let's catch up with the rest of chat. Sorry, I promise we'll catch up. Krim says, my wife has a mix of both genders. Generally, she has more male partners than female. Since I'm straight, obviously all mine are female. At this rate, I should have just stayed in chat. Yeah, you should have just stayed in Discord. It would have been faster. Said I was going to bed, and here I am 45 minutes later. You're probably even still here now, waiting for me to read what you said. And that sucks, but thanks for doing so. Tro says, maybe I'll come on mic too. Well, we did switch to my server, so it's easier to find us. I don't really care what my intro is, which is why I don't have one. I know you'll all eventually make one in time. It's a free perk. Or not a free, but like because you've subbed or become a ghost for whatever reason, those perks are unlocked to you, so you should take advantage of it. Plus, it makes other people feel like aspirational towards what could they do with my channel. So you grow the overall production value if you do engage in finding your own personal intros. Yeah. My intro is such nonsense. No, I love it. I think it's very on par for you. Sadism is the sexual thrill from causing pain. Masochism is the sexual thrill from receiving pain. Yeah, I'm just not pain driven. I like pleasure. I like comfort. And I don't derive pleasure from most forms of pain. Pain to me is straightforward. It's painful. Lady Nico says there's a wide range of things in those categories. Yeah. That's very true. I saw you enter chat a long time ago, Lady Nico. I'm sorry, I'm just now catching up with everything. A dominant person can be a masochist. True, they can dominate and say what they need as far as their masochism. People think the dom has all the control, but that's not necessarily true because the ground rules are laid by the subs, so nothing is done without their permission. Yeah, I feel like subs are generally more the controlling person in the relationship as far as energy and what is provided. The sub lays the groundwork down. What's going on? Silvos! How dare you? Thank you.
Just subscribe.
Oh, I mean Rush. How dare you? Thank you, Rush, for all of your philanthropy to this channel.
Techie009 just subscribed.
Techie. Oh, wait, these all take a bit of a moment to come through.
Kiwi _ and _ Teddy _ and _ Molly just subscribed.
And underscore.
Silva says, yeah, lots of underscores. I must head out, but just wanted to say hi. I appreciate your face.
Viljura1 just subscribed.
Thank you for the gift subs. Thanks for popping in. If it's late and you need to go, I understand. My schedule has been sort of off from yours, I think, this last half a year.
Stuart Mullen just subscribed.
And one to Stuart. Love that. Thank you, Silvos. Hopefully by August, I'll have a schedule that makes a little bit more sense to your schedule. But I'm not ready to say anything official yet, so give me time and patience there. Thank you. Have a good night. Of course, there are safe words. Safe words are, I think, a necessity, especially if you're going to get into anything where there might be some consent play. You need to make sure that consent can always be reenacted where it needs to be. The sexiest thing a person can wear is sweatpants and a comfort hoodie. Honestly, I kind of feel the same. If somebody is like really confident in fuzzy, warm, fluffy, baggy clothing, and you can see that they feel sexy that way, that makes so much more sense to me than somebody wearing tight binding, like squishing against their skin sort of clothing. They're uncomfortable and itchy. They're trying their best to create a glamour, but you can tell that they're not quite in it. They're trying to do an acting role for you. I'm not really for that. I'd much rather somebody felt as comfy as they're trying to make me feel. That's what I'd really love. So I fully agree. Subs can also play naughty sub when they try to rebel. In the circles that I've met here in the Atlanta metro area, they're called brats. And I definitely know some brats.
I know a couple brats.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely a vibe. It's not my vibe, but I get it. I super get it. It doesn't take much. Unlike certain fetishes, that one makes a lot of sense to me, even though it's not my thing. Oh, and in fact, Krim says brats. Can confirm Hermit is very, very real and very, very nice. I am not Hermit. I need people around me. I need to choose which people are around me because I can't just have just anybody filling my extroversion. I don't like spending time with random people, but several high-value people in my orbit have made my existence
I just realized I got a sub.
Yeah.
Thank you, Silvos. You did it again.
Silvos gave you a gift sub. Congrats.
He did it on Haley's as well.
Oh, nice. Beautiful. Yeah. For me, Hermit doesn't make sense, but I understand why it works for other people, for sure. My wife and one of our hinge partners are brats. Gotcha. These people's advice is horrid. Wait, what are we talking about? What advice?
Oh, that was going back to the advice of people trying to tell me.
Oh,
like,
yes.
Go into a relationship unprepared.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Troa there. Toady says maybe one day I'll get out there. Till then, though, I'll stick to my apathy-fueled bed rot. As long as you are feeding into your own existence and not just sort of decaying for the sake of decay, I don't think there's anything wrong with focusing on yourself and what makes you happy and letting that stuff happen naturally or not happen if that's the natural course, as long as you're comfortable with that. Tro says, I enjoy my own company, but I presume I'm just an oddity to others, a perspective that's been frequently proven. I feel like there's more power or more strength of character in a person who can be alone and appreciate their own existence than somebody who needs to constantly seek validation and fulfillment by being around other people. I say I'm an extrovert, but I do feel whole when I'm alone. I think that's an important thing to cultivate, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, is an understanding of who you are and an acceptance and comfort of being alone, because you can't always be around other people and you can't thrust your happiness and fulfillment on somebody else's shoulders. You'll always come up hurt or lacking in the end.
That is actually a good point to how I got a little bit more confident. Is I finally got confident being alone and being okay with it. And then like, oh, if people want to be around, I like it, but I don't need it.
Yeah. It should be something that is enjoyable, but not required.
Like, even when I hang out with Teresa, it's usually just her sitting there reading, me doing my own thing, and every now and then go, look at that. And then she'll be like, oh, nice.
Yeah. Krim says, I'm still here laying in bed. As far as safe words, my wife and I just use a stoplight system. Oh, that's perfect. Fast and easy, and it's already something that you use regularly anyway. I think we're caught up with chat. I'm going to take a quick bio break, and then I think Likos and I are going to queue into some Final Fantasy content, yeah.
Go kill some bombs or shit.
I'm going to leave this on live, so that requires Stuart and Likos to be presenters to the chat. Good luck with that, you guys. I'll be back in just a minute.
Hi, Likos. How are you? You enjoying the conversation?
I what's a conversation?
That's a good question. Would you like to know a secret?
Go for it.
I pretended not to know what sub and dom like actually meant to try and help spark a conversation, and it totally worked.
You monster.
I am a monster. I'm a baby.
Actual monster.
But yeah, it was literally just me going, I wonder if people will start talking more if I say something like this. 100% worked.
To be fair, that was also right about when I came in, so at
That's
least
true.
for me,
It's
felt all I've known.
like IRL clickbait, like real-time clickbait.
There's a, not to change topic too much, there's a person in another server that I'm in who kind of does similar, where I'm not a big fan of him because he tries to start controversial conversations about
I hate
stuff
that.
with the intent of trying to get people like riled up to keep chat going. Not necessarily get them angry riled up, but he
likes to
starts
watch.
up a like he starts up a conversation topic on something that gets people riled up, and then just watches the chaos and plays devil's advocate the whole entire time. It gets conversation going, but it's never good conversation.
There can be benefit to that because you finding out some weird proclivities to people could be good. You're like, oh, I didn't realize this guy was very much into eating dogs. Cool, or something like that. I didn't want to like start a specific topic because really trying to not do the thing you just complained about.
Sad thing is, this isn't about like stuff like that. It's literally just saying a really dumb hot take about a game.
Oh yeah.
And just watching people be like, what the fuck are you on about, dude? Actually, what is going on?
I do that, but only for like a quick joke. Like, I will fan like, yeah, Metroid's one of my favorite characters. He's really cool. And just see if people like will take the bait for the dumb, like, actually it's a girl. It's like, yeah, her name is Samus. I said that because I wanted you to think I didn't know. But I never let it get past that, which sounds like it would be irritating if someone did.
Yeah, no. For this person, whenever he does get a conversation started, if it ever starts getting civil and people start agreeing, he immediately tries to throw some shit in to try to stoke flames again.
He's just a shitster.
Yeah, I don't get it, but that's just what they do. I'm not a fan of them. I got a lot of other people who are not a fan of him.
It's wanting attention, but not on them. It's one of those things where it's like, I can go, look what I did, but I'm not in trouble. He he he.
Yep. Pretty much.
By the way, I am sorry if this makes you uncomfortable. I do have my worm in my hand.
Your worm?
Yeah, my earthworm Jim. I'm painting him.
Oh.
See, stuff like that where I will say something that makes you go, wait, what the fuck? And then instantly clarify to make you go, okay, you're just being stupid.
Question, how raunchy can I get on stream?
This is an 18+ stream, long as you're not breaking any terms of service, I think he's okay.
Bet. For a second there, I was like, oh shit, you're jerking it to Big Daddy D?
I've said one of the worst sentences ever on here, and it's because I learned it from his wife.
Ah, fair enough.
Every now and then I'll watch D and you guys play Final Fantasy and go, I could join back in, but then I realize I don't want to. I really don't want to spend the money.
Okay, so this is actually a good conversation for me because I used to play the game a shit ton. I have like 11,000 hours in it. I quit for like 4 years and I'd only come back for the release of a new expansion. With Endwalker, I came back, and then with Dawn Trail, I came back. And I've been trying to play it by, like, whenever I get the itch, I'll allow myself to go back for a bit. But, like, I kind of don't really raid anymore, because I used to be, like, a big raider on my server and stuff.
I did that in World of Warcraft a lot, but not in Final Fantasy.
I did it a lot in Final Fantasy, and I had some very, very, very bad experiences with different raid groups. Basic summary is I have never been in a raid group that actually went well. I've been in raid groups where we ended up clearing at the end, but not without a lot of animosity in the group. And it's almost never towards me. Like it's crazy. Like one of the groups that I was in, I swear you can't even make this shit up. Like we had like 3 members of the group die during the raid tier. Just like straight up real life actually died.
Oh. Real
like
life.
that is how cursed my raid groups have been.
Like how did they die?
One of them was a heart attack. Another one literally just straight up got murdered.
Wow.
Was this all in the same raid?
Yeah, same raid tier, same raid group.
Fucking
wild.
Don't raid with him.
I have had crazy raid tier experiences. If we go back to DSR, I was in phase 7 of DSR. We were very close to being ready to clear. We were at the damage check portion of the final phase of DSR after being in that fight for like 6 months. Tower Fantasy came out, and within a week, the group disbanded to go play Tower Fantasy. A gacha game. Just came out, and they're like, cool, we're gonna throw 6 months of work away and disband.
Must be nice to have that kind of free time.
That's the thing, I didn't have that free time. I was trying to work like 30 hours a week while trying to do 4 classes at the same time in uni. I didn't have that free time. I had to move mountains to be available for that, and they just threw away 6 months of my life of free time, because that was all of my free time for those 6 months.
So, D, don't die when raiding with him.
I'll try my best. I probably can't stop murderers, but
I mean, I feel like you can stop a murderer better than a heart attack.
I mean, between the two, I don't know if what I have more defense against right now.
Don't you have swords all over your house? Or no, you had to get rid of them or keep them in the garage.
I have them all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just not right here where I'm streaming, so if somebody were to try to focus on me when I'm live, that might be tricky. I'll have to keep
It sounds like someone needs to put a sword in their background.
Yeah, it sounds like something needs... Well, you know, I do have some weapons behind me, actually, so I think I'm okay. Yeah, just in case.
Just don't get murdered.
Yeah. All right, with your permission, may I catch up with chat here?
Of course.
Toady says, I do Final Fantasy things myself, but I feel like shit today. Then focus on you. The game will still be here when you're done. Krim says, Stuart, just following the conversation, at no point did I believe you didn't know what sub and dom are.
I came clean that I literally feigned ignorance on the term sub and dom to spark a conversation and see if it would draw other people to come in, and it worked.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Ultimately, you're a showman, and you know what you're doing.
Sometimes.
Toady says, I like playing devil's advocate, but more cartoonish devil than controversial devil. Oh, okay. I like that. Krim says, I know better than to assume what you're saying is always 100% true. That is probably the best thing you can do with Stuart. Just take everything as false and then maybe apply truth to some of it, if it seems like it fits.
If it's a serious topic, it usually is true. I don't don't cry wolf very often about like, oh, blah, blah, my brother had a heart attack kind of thing. That's not funny to joke around about.
Yeah.
But being like, what's a sub and dom?
Yeah. Toady says, can't believe Stuart is holding his worm on stream. Did something happen while I was
yeah,
bio?
he announced he was choking his chicken.
I love that.
Yeah, I had my worm in my hand.
Okay, sure. Uh-huh.
I got blue paint on it, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Steve, do you want to get to hear your voice?
Legos must have a pretty fancy notebook. Nice. Yes, a very fancy notebook. But, yeah. Tower of Fantasy, says Lady Nico. Apparently also a fan of gacha games. The one who has been the most fervent in trying to get me to get into Genshin, which at some point I'd like to try on stream, but...
It's actually kind of the opposite. Tower of Fantasy was kind of shit.
Oh, okay. Not as good as Genshin at all.
Is like a raid group disbanding to it is just like a massive insult.
I see. That sucks. Think my stuff basically took over your stream for like an hour. Crims, you're so good, honestly. It's collaboration that is the reason why I do these Discourse streams. For those of you that are the coveted, those of you who have access to the MV knowledge base, know that I took copious notes to try to make a Discourse topic work tonight. That was in the face of, if nobody were to ever come in and chat with me on a Wednesday/Thursday morning, what would I say in the face of I'm just staring at a webcam and nobody is chatting? How would I fill the space? And so I did some extensive research. It's there, it's in the knowledge base. But the fact that I don't have to rely on that, the fact that that hasn't come up at all, where I've brought up those talking points, feels really good. Because that means that you all have been engaged enough and that you all have care, consideration, and vulnerability to share your talking points. That's so much better than whatever forensic, dead, empty notes I can take on the matter.
I mean, let's be fair though. Anytime we say something, you're very good at elaborating, telling your part of it, and you don't just like have a couple words. You have like a full like dissertation, like, oh, this is blah 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 blah, and it's like, oh, cool.
So in other words, I actually think critically about what you tell me instead of just reading your chat.
Well, also not just the chat, but like the full conversations we're having.
Yeah. Have you ever watched a streamer? I've noticed this with a few streamers, and I can't believe they get as much fame as they do. Toady, so help me God.
Yes, my child?
The game is already saved. Have you ever watched a streamer who just reads chat but then doesn't actually say anything to what they've read? I find that really fascinating that some big streamers make their brand this way. Like, they'll read a line of conversation in chat and they won't react to what they've just read, right? Like, oh, Big Boy 69 just said, hey Boo, what's your favorite movie? And then Raw Dog 3275 says, and they just like keep going. They don't talk to people. They're not actually engaged with what they're reading. They're literally just sitting there reading the lines of chat. And then they move on. There's no conversation. Why would you watch those people? But a bunch of people do. Usually because there's like boobs involved, but it's just wild to me that some people don't value the conversation or the connection or the exchange of ideas and thoughts to grow.
I will say I'm glad I did start in high school with this talkativeness. Because back in the day, I did not know how to stop and let other people get words in. That took a while to learn.
Sure. Yeah, being able to share the stage with somebody else.
Well, no, this is my stage. You're just here, and I'm letting you talk on it.
Oh, I didn't know what the stream was named. I'm sorry. That's my fault.
It is. Like I said, I am very giving, but it is my stage. That's why I dress like a main character.
Okay. Here we are, twitch.tv/Stuart Mullen. Thanks for being here, everybody.
You're welcome.
I appreciate Stuart for being so generous with platforming us this evening.
I mean, you're doing all the work. I don't have to thank people for subscribing and all that. It's way easier to do it this way.
I mean, I'm on the payroll, so you pay me to do this. Yeah.
I should stop that.
Wait, what? I need your pay. I need your money. Continue to support my family, Stuart.
Oh, that's fair. Wouldn't that make it me supporting your family?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, yeah.
Krim says, honestly, I don't usually talk about this stuff with anyone. It's purely my comfort with the current company. Well, I very much appreciate that. It shows we are building exactly the type of trust and engagement that I feel is... First, I feel everybody deserves. And second of all, I feel like if you can't find that around you, then I'm happy to be the venue in which you find that level of comfort and vulnerability.
it's kind of like I said, people just tend to like open up around me when I start conversations like this.
Yeah. That speaks to your trustworthiness and your non-judgmental nature. You are accepting and willing to just be there for people, be in support of people. And
yeah, they're messing up. I don't know what they're thinking.
That's why well, that's why Oz and I are your friend, because that matters very much to us as well.
Yes. I would hope so.
Krim says, obviously in my real life circles, I will as well. Oh, no, naturally. Toady says, I'm too good at shutting up if I'm vocal at all. Yeah, I've only heard your voice a couple of times, but I appreciate that you keep coming back to this very cerebral, very brainy, and very chatty stream to continue to support me. It means a lot. Knowing your proclivities. Likos, are you ready to queue up for... Do you have any duty finder duty that you don't like? That you're like, oh god, please just don't queue us for frontline or whatever?
I have essentially not played the game outside of doing story stuff for like 2 years.
Okay, so I can pit you into anything and you'll be fine.
I mean,
I'm just here laughing at duty.
Depends on what you define as fine. I will not complain.
Excellent.
I might also kill us.
That's fine. I'm not tanking, so I don't care what you do or don't do.
Wow. Okay, hold up. Someone's getting a rescue.
Excellent. I will watch where you are and make sure to act accordingly.
Do I even have rescue on my bar?
Toady says maybe one day I'll get smarterer by proxy. Honestly, it's not a goal of mine because I don't want to set goals for other people, especially if you're not of the nature of becoming better and more nuanced and developed over time. I don't want to thrust that on people, but if your interest is to be smarter, more conscientious, more engaged in your reality than you already are, and my stream can in some way provide that environment for you, I consider that a huge win.
I will say something on your behalf too.
Sure.
To the watchers, if any of you watching have a differing opinion to D, please tell him he likes having the discussion.
Oh yeah,
It's one of those things. A lot of people are too afraid that they're going to upset the streamer, so having it out there is probably very helpful. Just like, oh yeah, I have full permission. I don't think he'll ever call anyone wrong necessarily.
No, not unless you get a fact wrong.
Yeah.
Like somebody on stream, this was a while back, said that the pagan holiday of Samhain was pronounced Samhain, and I was like, oh, that's funny. Where did you get that pronunciation? And they're like, oh, Danzig called it Samhain. I was like, well, that's Danzig. He's not Gaelic. He doesn't know the word or how to pronounce it.
I mean, theoretically, they are correct. People do pronounce it Samhain. It doesn't mean it's the original pronunciation. It's just what people think it is now.
Well, it's not the original pronunciation. It's also not the current pronunciation either. Like,
no.
There are no circles in which somebody have said, you know what, the modern way to pronounce this is now Samhain because reasons.
It's usually a mispronunciation in some form of media.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's people looking at another language using the phonetic alphabet and thinking that English has determined the phonetic alphabet's pronunciation on letters, which is just not the case. Like, anytime you see the letter M, you might think, well, that's pronounced like M. You put your lips together. But that's definitely not the case with Gaelic, and so it's just wrong. And so for Samhain, you don't pronounce the M as an M because it's not English. End of story. But yeah, I generally won't correct people on matters of opinion. If something's your opinion, what the hell do I have in my repertoire to say, I'm going to correct you. Your opinion is wrong.
Also, I feel like a lot of us here have similar opinions on stuff. Never the same exact. So it might not come up as much, but I just wanted to put it out there for anyone watching. Just tell us we're stupid if you think we're stupid. And explain why.
Yeah, I respect that take. And yeah, I feel like we do have a lot of similar opinions. I will on occasion, as a result of that, try to speak in terms of opposites attract. I should come closer. Damn. Yeah, I messed that up. Okay. Yeah, I do try my best to speak in terms of devil's advocate if I feel like one side's being overrepresented. In other words, yes, we do have a lot of shared commonalities in my community, and I try my best not to abuse that. Because nobody really deserves to be in an echo chamber with a bunch of people that are just going to feel and say exactly the same things that you do. That doesn't help anybody grow. It's not worth your time.
I mean, I'm already 6 feet. I don't think I need to grow.
Wow. See what you did there. But yeah, oh man, I'm going to die. Legos.
I told you not to.
I needed to save me from my own bad game.
I'm trying to figure out how I do it.
I know. You're fine. I just don't remember this dungeon at all.
This is my second piece of content I've run since I came back. I didn't have a scheme.
Oh no! Yeah, I messed it up. Yeah, usually the first boss fight's the pacemaker. So if you can't survive the first boss fight, you're in trouble. If you survive the first one, the rest of it's not going to be much of a challenge. So make sure you at least solve for the first one. All right, opposites attract, like pushes. There we go. Good. Yeah, so I like to play devil's advocate, but I don't do it because I'm contrarian or a provocateur. It's really just because I feel like every nuance needs to be represented. Hello, Kit.
We were actually having a discussion about a provocateur.
Oh.
Yeah. Wasn't me. It was Ligos saying he knew someone who was very much of that ilk and did not like it.
Oh, yeah. I feel like being a provocateur for the sake of it means you don't get to have your own values. I try not to provoke for the sake of provoking, just more so that we air out the understanding of all sides of an argument while also not platforming all sides equally. If a side sucks and it produces more suffering than benefit for humankind, ridicule it. But we should talk about it, at least understand why people are incentivized the way that they are, what it is that encourages people to believe a certain way, so that you know later on in your life how to address it, or you can start thinking about how you would engage with people of that ideology. Not because all ideologies should be equally represented on my stream. I'm not a safe space for ideas. We don't protect people, especially if their ideas cause suffering. Toady says, do set goals for me because I'm fucking terrible at decisions. We'd be happy to. Oh, I skipped one. Crims says, don't worry, it might not seem like it based on what you've seen of me, but I'm not really a big talker. Diaz and Stewart, I think just mesh very well with me. So I'm more extroverted because of it. Oh, I like that.
Well, that's the thing is most introverts, they just need to have the people that they feel comfortable with around to recharge the battery.
It's a matter of comfort. Yeah. I think what I've heard from introverts is there are a lot of people who are net negatives that like pull from your social battery. And then there are net zero where some people are just as comfortable to you as your own interior monologue. I hope I'm expressing that accurately as an extrovert. Thank you for the lurk, Jim. Appreciate your face. So yeah, some people do feel like while being introverted, there are an inner circle group of people in their lives that make it okay to engage with those folks on a regular basis. They don't drain from your battery. They are comfortable to be around, and you could probably spend long periods of time with them without feeling that introverted drain.
I feel like that's a big difference between most extroverts and introverts, is just the amount of those kind of people in your life.
Maybe.
Like, you might be introverted and just realize that you have a lot of people that don't drain your battery.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Maybe you're just lucky with the tribe that you've built. Yeah.
See, for me, it's no matter who I'm talking to, it still just drains me. It's just a matter of like, there's people that I like talking to, so I don't care, and people that I don't, so I do care.
But it drains nonetheless, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah.
For me, a lot of it depends on what we're doing. Like, I can talk to people for hours if I have something else to do most of the time. I can still talk to people for quite a long time. Like right now, I've just been painting. I've been talking and painting, keep my hands busy while my mind is just not doing something else.
Yeah.
But if I were sitting here doing this alone, I'd be going crazy and have to have music on or something, because my brain would be like, you're painting. Tacos. No, paint.
So maybe you are more extroverted because you need people to help give you that focus and satiety. Perhaps.
Maybe. I know.
Yeah, like, being extroverted doesn't mean that you like everyone. Being extroverted just means that you, like, don't get tired by being around other people.
Yeah.
Me, even if I like talking to people, there will still be times where I'm just like, yeah, I'm just not going to show up in Discord no matter how much people want to hang out with me for a few days.
Yeah, 100%.
And, like, I just won't show up to streams, I won't show up in Discord, I won't talk to anyone. I will just be completely isolated for like 3 days straight.
Yeah, I feel that way. As an extrovert, there are people that I like to spend my time around and feed into my social battery or whatever. I don't know how to do this one.
I'm assuming
I hope it's minimized. Otherwise...
Wondering
Oh, I dodged. Okay, good. So, as long as you're tiny, you can duck underneath these.
Tell me about it.
I did it. But I don't like certain types of conversation. So I don't have a low standard for my time spent. In other words, I wouldn't just busy myself with conversation or company with just anybody, because I find a lot of people to be boring and not that interesting to have that chat with. So why waste my time just to like feed my battery?
I don't know if I'm tooting my own horn, but one thing I am not is boring.
I don't know. I'm just kidding.
I'm very rarely predictable, because as soon as you think you got a hang of it, it's like, wait, what?
That's good.
Like, there's certain things I lead on people to think is predictable, but then I throw a curveball in every now and then.
Yeah. I need to be a frog. Why do frogs really not have to breathe?
They actually breathe through their skin.
Okay, so frogs do breathe. The fact that this enemy makes a you can't breathe debuff and then you turn into a frog is fake news, basically.
No, so frogs, it's a lot. That's one reason they can stay underwater so long, is they have like a membranous skin that allows oxygen particles to go through, and can filter toxins sometimes. Why you see them in the mud a lot. That's not every frog, mind you. There are definitely frogs that's like, yeah, this one will die.
So
like,
maybe
if you ever watch a frog eat, they do not use their mouth for anything besides eating.
No, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So basically, when these enemies use that debuff Breathless, what they're probably doing is making it so normal anthropomorphic people cannot breathe, but a frog could.
Probably. Or it's just a video game and they're not trying to think too hard.
Probably. It just seems like weird, like, why frog? Why not become a robot or something? Like literally something that can't breathe. Or a vampire in some mechanics of, certain worlds. Being a vampire means you don't have to breathe. I don't know.
The
Just
best
trying to
kind
make
of vampire.
I'm just trying to make shit up.
I know they still have frog in this series, but do they still have pig?
Pig? No. At least not
It's
to
one
my
of the
knowledge.
forgotten spells in Final Fantasy. I refound after playing through 4.
Okay. It's been a long time since I played 4. So I don't remember the pig spell.
Who are frog, mini, and pig.
All right.
There's like a village of them.
Interesting. Tro says, D and I disagree from time to time. It's usually fun. Here's the thing. I feel like if you want to grow and learn as a person, you cannot just disagree and cause use that as what's the word I'm looking for? That can't be a rift in your relationships with other people. If that becomes the deal breaker for you is disagreement, you will never learn or grow or develop as a human being. You need adversity. You need people to contradict you or question you, and you need to be able to accept those things. Otherwise, you're just looking for yes men. You're no better than your classic narcissist that says the only thing I need in life is for people to validate my ideas, not give me theirs, but I want them to agree with mine.
One reason I really enjoyed speaking with you is I've learned quite a bit.
Good. I appreciate that. I don't feel like I know a lot about things. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, you're good at researching my bullshit. It's like, I think this, and I'm not afraid of being wrong, but I'm too lazy to look it up. I know you will.
Sure. And when I can't, like if I'm live streaming, somebody else will. For that reason, I appreciate the community very much because you all do a lot of the sort of work that I do when I'm not live streaming, which is somebody just made a really weird claim, or I'm not so sure about that, or like, what's the actual number behind that? You all will find it and then hold that person's claim accountable. That's good. That is exactly what I do in my spare time as well. Oh, God.
Not only that, but they're never accusatory.
No, just because somebody makes a false claim doesn't mean that they're malicious about it, right? Like many people
false claims all the time.
Yeah, many people just say wrong things, and that's fine.
Like last time we were streaming, I claimed that Keck came from World of Warcraft.
Right.
It did not come from it, but it kind of got popularized there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's kind of like a partial truth to that one.
Yeah. Usually the bullshit I say has some form of like truth, but it's like, you're close.
Yeah. Oh no, what's ow.
Oh, hello.
I don't like that one. Oh, it keeps growing. Oh, it's getting bigger. That's what she said.
I don't see screen, and I think you're breaking terms of service now.
Probably. Toady says, my only opinions are food related. I have been encouraged by a few key people, Troa among them, to partake in mukbang streams, especially when we have a kitchen again. It's possible. We might talk about food opinions in the future of this stream. Stuart has 6 feet. There's money to be made there. Yeah, if you could monetize having 6 feet, for sure.
But Grimsby, 6 legs.
Nice.
I don't know if you've ever seen that clip.
Wait, no Folgers sound? What happened? I heard it in my own ears. Something must have broken. I'm sorry, Kit. We'll have to figure out what went wrong there. This is potentially dangerous.
This is the story of a girl.
This is... I don't like that song. But I
don't either.
I know that song very well, unfortunately.
Oh.
That's the nature of my life, is memorizing songs I don't like that well. All the lyrics and everything combined. That's just how I am. It's how I do. Use my
There's very
brain.
few songs I can think of that I hate until I start hearing them.
Then you're like, oh wait, yeah, this was one. Yeah, this song sucks. Yeah, that's me.
Very often that'll happen to me.
Yeah. Hello. I'd really love to attack this guy. Oof. Big oof. I can agree with that statement, D. You guys are exactly that for me. I love that. My battery will drain eventually, regardless, as I am an empath and feed off the emotions of those around me. I'm also very, empathetic sort of person. Ultimately, if I could state one goal for this stream, at a very meta level, it would be to increase empathy. Now, the reasoning behind that and what I think is stopping it and the methods behind making empathy bigger, those all differ from person to person, but I think we all in this community agree biggest empathy is biggest win for everybody involved.
No, fuck empathy.
Except for Stuart, but he's a troll, so don't believe anything he says.
No, I'm just a dark empath. I just want to steal your emotions.
Oh, okay. You've already stolen my heart.
I did keep it in the fridge. I don't know where it went.
You would. I hope you've kept it at least fresh.
Is there any other way?
Is it in a Tupperware?
No, I actually encased it in resin.
Oh, interesting. Bold move, Cotton. Let's see how this plays out. Why am I hurting? I have vulnerability.
That's a question that a lot of people are asking right now.
Wubba lubba dub dub dub.
I forgot that I didn't feel like Rick and Morty would be a show you'd enjoy, and I still don't know if it is.
At times. It's one of those shows that, like, I get, even though I find the human Justin Roiland a little
scummy.
Yeah, scummy is a great word. I don't appreciate the person, even though I appreciate the way he is engaged in the world and the things he's put out into it, which unfortunately is the truth for a lot of creatives that I know in almost every media. They've produced.
You are aware of the situation, right, with him?
I guess not really.
He has been axed from the show to the point where they redubbed every episode with new voice actors.
Every episode?
Every episode has new voice actors.
Wow, I did not know that. That's intense.
They did a huge search on it. Like, they had a bunch of people audition, and every now and then you can hear, like, oh yeah, that sounds a little different, but they're pretty good.
Interesting. I'm impressed. Yeah, because he's been pretty awful in a number of different metrics, so.
Apparently he hadn't really been involved with the show since like season 2 or 3 or something like that either.
Oh, okay.
He was just voice acting in it, kind of like how what's his name, the guy who does Family Guy,
Seth
isn't really
MacFarlane.
writing for the show.
Yeah,
he's just the characters.
He's also a little bit of a scumbag as well.
Yeah, I hear he's bad, but not Justin Roiland bad.
Yeah.
In fact, the guy who wrote Gravity Falls, I forget the other guy who was involved in Rick and Morty, are actually really good friends still.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Rick and Morty has a canon like cameo from Gravity Falls in it.
Interesting.
A couple of them actually.
Cool.
I wish I could watch Rick and Morty, but the community killed it for me.
I never get that with shows or media. I can never be like, oh, the community ruined that for me, because I don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks about the show I'm watching.
That's fair. I usually try to avoid.
It's not that. It's the so. How do I word it? I did not watch it when it first started airing because I just didn't know about it. I found out about it through people's incessant memeing about it and non-stop talking about it.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's one of those things where what killed it was I don't know if people have done this around like you both, but like some people when they consume media will have like obviously the media has in jokes,
Right.
and some people will go to others that don't know those in jokes and purposely just constantly use them and constantly talk about the show and constantly just like do other shit with the express goal of getting on someone's nerves. And that's what I mean when I say the community killed it for me.
I feel like I had a similar.
Would constantly bring it up with the goal of trying to make me angry.
I see. I feel like I had a similar, if not identical, experience with Monty Python. I never grew up watching anything Monty Python related, but I had friend groups, especially in high school, that would speak in Monty Python. And when it came down to my first viewing of anything related to their intellectual property, I was like, all this sounds like to me is all of the silly quotations that all of my friends have foisted upon our conversation as sort of like a filler for actual humor. They've just been quoting this. And outside of the context of the show or the movies itself, it's not that funny. And then put back into the context of the original stuff, it's kind of ruined for me.
Yep, that's sadly Rick and Morty for me.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It has some good moments, some really good moments.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate a show that allows their animated characters to grow, even though it feels like a serialized show.
All right, let me catch up with chat here. Krim says, just the presence of other will eventually overwhelm my emotional levels, even if I don't particularly show it. Well, I appreciate being I think the term is a net zero person for you. That really means a lot to me.
Hopefully I don't fuck it up.
What's the discourse today? We were originally talking about things that you engage in your life that are taboo, that you've just accepted as comfortable and normal for your life, but the pearl clutchers of your world have determined that they are negative experiences. Tro says, what actor was that? I'm not sure what that was in reference to anymore.
Perhaps
Sorry.
referring to the voice actor. It was the main lead for Rick and Morty himself.
Oh yeah, Justin Roiland.
He voiced random characters as well, but he was Rick and Morty, respectively. And they replaced those two characters. And then I don't know if they did a lot of the smaller parts, because it's kind of hard to know who he voiced. He's one of those like, oh yeah, I'm this character, I forgot kind of people.
Yeah, it randomly fills for other characters too. Crims, have a good night. Everybody say good night to Crims. He's finally going to bed.
Night, Crims. About damn time.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go
Because
to...
quick, what's your favorite color?
Green.
Cool.
Is that okay?
I just wanted no reason.
Is that the right answer? What's the right answer, Stuart?
No, there is no right answer. That's why it is a favorite, but it's red.
Oh, it's red.
Yeah.
But the right answer was red. We were looking for red. Tro
We're going to have
says,
to look up a direction. I'm sorry it's not working out.
Tro says, that's who I was asking about. I never cared about for that series, but I like to know the bad actors. Yeah, I don't like that things that I'm interested in that I think fill me with joy sometimes also fill somebody's pocketbooks that I'd prefer didn't have them. But I also believe that while boycotting culture has never really gone away, that it's one of those things that always comes at the detriment of the person boycotting as much as it does at the company or person that you're trying to boycott as well. It's nice to feel like our dollars mean something, and if we collectively agree that something's reprehensible of culture, like Tesla has recently shown significant drop in sales, and a lot of people believe that it is because of the way their CEO is acting in recent times. That could be the case. That could not be. You know, it's hard to say all the factors involved in why a company drops in sales. But it's nice to feel like that could be a possibility, that if you disagree with something enough and you get enough social clout behind you, you can make a sway based on what consumers buy into or not. But I also feel like there's some really great music, art, shows, movies that they're meaningful, they have a great impact, but if you engage in them, you're funding somebody's lifestyle or somebody's ideology that is awful. How do you navigate that space? I think everybody's got to make that decision themselves. So far, mine has been, I don't mind funding the awful person if it means my own personal revelations, growth, investment grows as a result of it. But that also depends on how awful the person is. I think everybody's got to draw a line somewhere. You know, how many baby seals are we clubbing on the back end of things before you decide, okay, this particular brand is not for me. But the moral outrage at everybody at some point can result in you living a really constrained lifestyle where you're limiting yourself to new experiences, new ideas, or maybe even new challenges because you just don't want your money or whatever other resource being wasted on the wrong people.
The idea of ethical consumption is a hard one to ask people to actually care about.
Yeah. I feel it's not easy, right? To tell somebody, hey, you know, this person is funding this really unpopular war. Wouldn't you rather pick an alternative to funding that? That person might say, yeah, you know, what do I have to do? And if it gets to be too complicated, too pricey, or just too anything, most people will opt out from that conscientious behavior and say, you know what? Things were easier when I just didn't know. And they'll just turn that part of themselves off, right?
Yep.
Especially to ask somebody right now in the current economic situation in the US, hey, would you be willing to accommodate a little more expense if it meant ethical connections with the brands that you consume or the sort of intellectual property that you engage in? Most people would say, my morals are strong, but my paychecks are stronger. my sense of survival is far stronger. You know, I just need to survive this economy or the inflation.
My morals are strong, my paychecks are not.
Yeah. my household budget is weak. So you have to sort of make sure that your basic needs are met. That's one thing that I feel like I've always been at a little bit of odds with the far left streaming community about, is they feel really strongly about morals and values in a way that speaks to a sort of economic blindness, or like everybody comes from a certain socioeconomic class in which they get to make choices. I'm like, that's amazing. The fact that you get to make choices on what you buy, where you go, what you do with your money, everybody would love to have that kind of freedom and power. I want that kind of freedom and power. I don't have that kind of freedom and power, so I'm not going to make those choices. And I hope that the vast majority of folks out there don't shame me for the fact that I'm not rich enough to engage in that same type of behavior of we follow our ideals and not our survival needs.
Even beyond like the actual finances involved, like it's just hard to ask people who are just trying to live life to put aside enough of mental bandwidth to actually give a shit about that stuff.
Sure. Everybody's got their priorities, and some people think on scope of things like their relationship partner or the children that they procreated before what's happening in Congo right now, right?
It actually came up quite literally earlier today for me in a conversation amongst me and one of my other friends. We're talking about, I don't really recall what. He brought up Studio Mappa and how they treat their animators. And was trying to argue that, like, new shows being done by Mappa and stuff like that, like, you probably shouldn't be watching, probably shouldn't be giving them any money and all that stuff. And it's like, quite frankly, I just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, they could be clubbing their animators for all I care. And I just don't give a shit. Like, I don't mean to sound nasty, I don't mean to sound rude about it, but, like, I just don't have the capacity to care.
Well,
I focus on other stuff that's more immediate within stuff that I can change. I can't change how they treat their employees. The employees sign up for it. It's a passion-filled industry, and people quite literally apply to work there, knowing what the conditions are like.
Right.
I would rather focus my attention into the things that I've discussed with you, that I did in my past job, and what I'm trying to seek for my current job and stuff, or what I'm trying to seek for my next job. As that affects people who don't have a choice in the matter, who don't choose to be in harm's way.
Right.
That to me is worth way more of my mental bandwidth than worrying about someone who quite literally signed up to work a job that is known for being very, very, very bad treatment for employees.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of it too.
I can't care. I can't find it within me to care.
Yeah. A big component of that is when local laws and regulations allow for a certain type of behavior between employee and employer, and they have agreed that that's okay. Maybe some people have gotten employed by a certain company and they say, you know what, this is awful and I hate it. And they leave and they complain and they file a report with the BBB. And then somebody else backfills them and says, I'm so comfortable with this. Or honestly, this is way better than my previous employer treated me, even though it's still not good. It's, you know, for me, this is fine. I can handle this. It's the same thing with relationships, right? Somebody might break up with you and say, oh, you're really toxic. And then the next person coming along can say, you know what? I can deal with what you've got. I have the toolkit for that. To say that something is objectively awful for everybody puts a lot of people at disenfranchisement that maybe are okay with what's going on, that they accept their situation, and to them it's not the deal that it is to other people. We can't thrust our standards on everybody and create one universal standard for everyone. Some things are definitely worthy of placing a meta regulation upon: the autonomy and protection of people, preservation of folks that need that support and protection, but not everything. Not everything.
Yep.
Toady says, I feel like my brain is hitting a reboot. That's fine. If you need to do a reboot, then I don't know. I think you have to pull on your ear and then do a prostate check. Then you reboot. Kid says, I can't afford to be a better person. Some people can't. If I said, you know, you need to spend twice the amount of money you do right now on your most expensive consumable in your refrigerator or in your pantry or your linen closet, go. That might break some people's budgets. Some of us do live paycheck to paycheck. And for me to say, you know, hey, step in and tell you your lifestyle is not supported by a greater moral good. You need to do something better with your choices, and it's going to cost some sort of freedom somewhere else. That doesn't work for everybody's life. It doesn't work for everybody's budget demands.
It'd be nice if it could, but we don't live in that world.
Yeah. I've definitely had that experience most of my life. I forget what it was. I was watching something earlier today, and I couldn't have felt more poor, because somebody was sharing like, this is what we like to do with our free time. This is how we like to spend our money. You know, this is a little bit pricey, but I think it's super worth it in the end if you engage in this. And I was like, I mean, if you can. Some things are pricey but worth the money, but only if you have the money to put in the first place.
Yep.
So I came up with a personal, like, phrase. I don't know if it's going to catch on anywhere else, but I like it.
Give it a shot.
Well, it involves 3D printing. It's kind of a niche thing, but I call them my Bob Ross prints.
Happy little accidents, I'm guessing, is part of the phrasing.
Yeah. The one I posted earlier, it was the fact that he was too small compared to the others, so I needed to reprint him. But instead of wasting it, I was able to turn it into a happy little accident. I made my D&D character.
Nice.
I've had a couple like that, where even like failed prints, I'll save parts of them. One print, the legs completely failed, but like a left leg was still intact almost entirely.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the torso and the lower legs weren't. I kept that leg just because.
Nice.
Afterwards, like a year later, someone asked me to print a Pennywise the Dancing Clown.
Okay.
I did so, found a print kind of plain, just him standing there in a spooky pose. But then I realized that foot, that leg, that lower calf looked to be the exact size of a child's leg in the side I had printed him.
Okay.
So I was able to take that leg, do a little bit of extra work to it, and turn this kind of like standard statue into my own like custom version of it. I've been doing stuff like that every now and then. It was like, oh yeah, this character, I didn't like the base, so I just added it to this one, and they fit together somehow, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or sometimes like I had a failed print that just made the texture look weird, and I kind of liked it, so I used it for something else.
I think that's smart. I think the idea that we live in a world without accident is I think it's a byproduct of social media, where so many people focus on showing you the world that they've created that's perfect. They edit out their mistakes. And this is not everybody. We're starting to get into sort of an enculturation where it's okay to show our journey and to show that mistakes are fine. But for a while, I think some of us were starting to get programmed into this ideology that things should be perfect all the time. If something isn't, you scrap it, you hide it, you don't talk about it because nobody else is dealing with this. If you look at everybody else's social media posts, you start to get this idea that everybody makes mistakes, but they're all minor and insignificant compared to yours. So you better hide yours out of shame.
I brought that up because while printing the statue, the base of it is just a bunch of like tires on like dirt. I don't know if you ever played the game, but it's a huge level in the game.
Which game?
Earthworm Jim.
It's been a long time. I've touched the game, yeah.
I happen to have a tire from another print that I accidentally printed 2 of them. And I'm like, oh cool, I'll just add this to this print, so it's technically like a custom piece now.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's neat.
I like that.
I'm glad you do, because I'm gonna keep doing it.
Oh, okay. If you insist.
I seldom ask permission to do stuff when it comes to art.
I'm so gonna judge you for that.
Good. You can do what you like. I am not your boss.
I wish you were.
I kind of do too. I would like telling you what to do.
I would kind of enjoy somebody other than my current boss to be my boss. I said, don't tell my actual boss I said that right now, though. I'm not quite ready to move on to greener pastures.
I'm not gonna lie. For the first time in my life, I can't say the same thing.
Good.
Like, I was complimenting her earlier, but like, it's hard to like state when you have good management or a good boss that's trying to take care of you, like how much a shitty job becomes not a shitty job.
Yeah.
You know, my boss dropped me from... Oh my god, it was so fucking funny. She asked me how many hours I wanted to work each week. I gave her the number. And then the very next week, instead of getting the number I said, I was given 12 hours. Next week, I'm given 6. And it's like, excuse me?
Wow.
What was the
hours?
hours?
Asked how many hours I wanted. I wanted about 30. That way I can still kind of focus on the job hunt, but like, I'd still be making enough money to afford to leave. So going from the 30 I was working to 12 down to 6 is like, is this just out of spite?
It
kind
of sounds like it.
Are they training someone to replace you right now?
No.
Okay, so they have no intention of like filling your position. Maybe they're putting the hours towards training.
I mean, it's literally I work at a tractor supply company.
And it's still training and everything. I've worked some really
training
with some really
is
dumb
can you
people.
lift a box?
That's fair. I mean,
if you can lift a box, you can do your job. You genuinely do not even know. You genuinely do not even need to know how to read. If you can move a box from point A to point B, you have the job.
Lucky me.
Stuart's gonna come steal your job.
But,
no, not to brag, but I can't read.
Damn. But nah, so in terms of the idea, like, they're training new people, we did get in a lot of new people. It is not because they are getting hours. It is just, I don't get it. I just simply don't get it.
And with most jobs,
Funny thing
that
is,
sort
they
of
even brought it up-
information is antagonistic to you, right? Like, they don't tell you the what or why behind their reasoning because they don't benefit from you knowing. In fact, they usually feel like it's harmful for you to know what they're trying to keep secret from you. I feel like my job does the same sort of thing.
The funny thing is, I brought it up. My manager straight up said, like, she has no idea how my hours got that low. Said that she'd fix it for next week. And next week is the one that I'm getting 6 hours instead. So...
Yeah.
I don't
Well, you should thank her for fixing it.
But you said... I mean, is it your manager that writes your schedules? How does somebody say, I don't know how that happened to you?
With contempt.
With contempt.
Remember that part where I said that you don't really need to know how to read?
Yeah. True of management,
I get a very
too.
strong impression that the same holds for management sometimes.
Yeah.
As a person who tried to insist to me that cows are incapable of producing methane at all. That ivermectin is the only medicine you should ever be taking.
Oh my.
What other weird shit have they said?
I like the cut of their jib. I feel like I could take advantage of someone like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Some people do like this new meta of people basically turning off common sense, turning off science, turning off everything except for some very authoritarian sort of person. It's like, great, I can go buy a nice suit and, you know, wear my hair in a certain way and convince a whole bunch of gullible people that anything I say is better than whatever greater narrative is being woven by what? Subject matter experts? What do they know?
One reason I will never call President Trump stupid is because he does that tactic a lot, from what I can tell.
Yeah, one of the things I used to say, in fact, especially around 2016, was that the left is actually more dumb and like lacks understanding that they don't realize that they lack because they're not able to tap into the people that he is. If you think it's reprehensible what he's able to do, why haven't you figured out how to do it as well? In other words, you know, like play the game so that you win the game. It's one of the things that I find, like, especially a lot of Bernie supporters were really upset at like his trajectory of his career. But I feel like one of the things that Bernie never did well enough was, why not just tell your supporters, like, hey, I'm going to wink at you guys and play this game for a bit while I'm in the middle of playing this game so that I win. I want you guys to know I hold your higher level interests in accord. We're going to make some good stuff happen, but I've got to win over this other demographic first to make it happen. It's the only way to actually like to do this right and actually, you know, be successful, be impactful. And
I've actually been yelled for being both sides of the political spectrum. Like, people think, oh, you're just a righty, you're a crazy righty, or you're a lefty. I'm like, I'm neither. I think all politicians, in my opinion, with very limited, like, smaller scales, are reprehensible people usually, who probably should not have power that they are given.
I don't know about reprehensible. I feel like politicians are just not as different as as many people give them credit for. We have this idea that they have a greater scope and understanding of the world than your average person does, and that they're above being manipulated or corrupted by people who would try to step in and be bad actors to their lives. We think that might happen to your average person. I might get scammed, but my congressman will never get scammed. And that's just not the case. You know, people are affected by very large scale forces around them. And we don't really have good protection against that in our public employees. You know, they will hear a very convincing argument or, you know, read something that affects their emotionality, or they'll listen to their constituents. And you could find somebody who's very morally upright, but their job is to support a bunch of people that you disagree with. What's the right answer for that person? Should they go rogue and not follow the people they're meant to represent? Or should they represent a bunch of people that you disagree with because that's a politician's job?
I'm not saying I want to hang them all. I just say anyone who get the most power, they can.
Can I just say that my favorite sentence you've said tonight starts with, I'm not saying I want to hang them all.
No, I've been accused of that. It's like, oh, you just want to kill all the politicians, huh? Anarchy.
It's just, it was like my favorite segue I've heard in a long time.
Oh, I'm great at segues. I will just say something completely off the wall if it gets me on to what I want to say. No, but like, I've been told, like, oh, you're just like an anarchist. You just don't like government in general. Like, no, I just know that there's a lot of problems with it that aren't going to be fixed ever, and it sucks.
Yeah. I feel like
people who are like, I want to be president. It's like, but why?
Yeah, I feel like there's no problem. I don't think there's any problem that can't be solved eventually. So I disagree with you in that meta statement that you've made, but I do feel like there are a significant number of problems that can't be solved currently by the population we have today and the values that they currently have. But that you can see a transition in values, in morality, in basic cultural standards that moves toward a greater support system for all, and that the longer we live in that environment, the more people are swayed by that sort of maximizing benefit for all people, and that will change certain policies as a result of, you know, what drives the vast majority of people at their core. Right now, a number of people are still driven by, you know, some Levant-based religion and a misreading of such from, you know, a few thousand years ago, and how can we rewrite that so that it becomes some sort of government policy? Yeah.
I just don't think it'll be attainable with the way things are going. Like, it is a possibility. Nothing is impossible, like you said. It's an improbability, in my opinion, that stuff will be fixed to a degree that everyone will be able to just live.
Yeah.
Because that's all we really should try to get. It's not like, oh, we need to make things better for everyone. It's like, no, just let everyone, you know, kind of chill and do their thing.
Well, I think there's some requirement for a government which serves its public to serve its public. So to say that you need to step back and let the public sector fix everything on its own is dangerous, because public sector has disparities in which, when it's left to serve the vast majority of people, will fail critically, so it can't do it. But I also disagree with the idea that the government can solve problems for people at maximal efficiency. I feel that the government has proven itself to be significantly inefficient. A number of people that I know who work in public sector have shown that just in their own jobs or in their coworkers' jobs, how much bloat and how much inefficiency we're allowing to exist when we try to fix things in a public way versus in a private sector way.
I will also say it's not just our government that I'm speaking about as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd love to say the U.S. is so corrupt and we're so bad, therefore everybody in the U.S. should just move to country X. But we're not the worst out there. We're not the best out there, but
we're a good medium.
Yeah, well, I don't know about good right now. Hold off for 4 more years and see where we're at.
There's policies that are trying to speed run us running to the bottom.
Yeah. We'll see.
Don't you mean the next 8 years?
Well,
sir, you stop.
Here's the scenario. I think there's going to be a significant backlash in 4 years, and I think we're going to see what people really want to see out of the U.S. because of what will happen in the next 4 years.
I sure fucking hope so. You got people like my dad in response to the predicted death toll of cutting U.S. aid, going ahead and saying sacrifices must be made.
Well, and here's the thing.
There's literally millions of people dying. And he's like, yeah, sacrifices just have to be made.
When it comes to sacrifices and death, similarly to COVID, the people who are going to be affected by the negative policies, by the human suffering engaging policies, will probably be the same demographic that have voted these policies into existence. That there's going to be overlap. There are going to be innocents who didn't want this that will be affected. But I think by and large, the vast majority of people who see negative health and survival repercussions based on an ideological change in these next 4 years, that will probably create a further demographic shift against them. In other words, people will die who were originally supporting these ideas in such amounts that I feel that in 4 years we'll see a demographic shift there alone because they weren't fighting for their own survival.
It is really funny where I work, being surrounded by a bunch of very, very, very conservative people.
Yeah.
Who are all for a lot of these policies. Suddenly get really afraid that their Medicaid is going to be cut. And suddenly get really afraid that the tariffs are going to impact their ability to buy groceries. And is going to impact their abilities to, like, get car repairs and get new things and stuff like that.
Right.
And then they immediately turn around and say, but they also think that Trump is doing a great job. He's really sticking it to the man, and he's really cutting back and saving them money and stuff like that. And it's like, how... I want to know. I really wish I could get a microscope inside a person's brain and just look at the, like, cognitive processes they go through.
Right.
To, in the same breath, go from I am worried that my Medicaid is going to be cut to, but I think Trump is doing a great job, and I think that Doge is doing a great job.
Yeah.
I want to see that process happen.
That's the part
It's
that
like-
I think separates the current GOP from previous GOPs too, and the reason why I think that the party is heading into some sort of a demand of a Phoenix rebirth. Oh, thank you, Nico.
There is actually a really good quote from the show Newsroom,
Mm-hmm.
where essentially the main character, he's like the big news anchor for the fake news company, has a moment on air where someone's asking, like, so you're still a Republican despite all these things that are going on. Obviously, this is pre-Trump. This show was made pre-Trump and all that, so this is not talking about Trump. This is talking about just general conservative policy shifting in the first place.
Yeah.
The guy says, yes, I'm a conservative. The issue is, I am a Republican. The issue with being a Republican is nowadays, being a Republican means you also have to hate minorities. You also have to be anti-gay. You also need to hate trans people. You also need to hate this. You need to hate that. You need to be for taking away bodily autonomy from people and all this other stuff.
Right.
And that's the issue with the Republican Party, as he says in the Newsroom itself. And it's like, it's such a beautiful quote. I actually have a friend who very, very, very much says that is how he himself identifies as a political affiliation. He identifies with that guy in the Newsroom.
Yeah.
When people ask what his political affiliation is, he plays that clip and says, I am this clip. That is my political affiliation.
Yeah.
It's funny. Because it's true. Like you're saying, there is going to be some sort of a rebirth where they get all these borderline extremist policies out from their party. In the past, going into their policy shifting that we've seen, we have seen what was originally the fringe alt-right become mainstream policy.
Right.
And it is absolutely confusing to me how that can happen.
I think the flavor of Americans who were easily swayed by talking heads, put authority in news media, and believed their local politicians, their local pastors, and would just follow cults of personality. That's a culture-bound syndrome that didn't continue on sort of a mimetic journey through younger generations. So when Gen X becomes sort of like the elder generation of this country, I don't think that they could nearly buy into a nice smile and a good-looking suit as enough policy to make their decisions. And as a result, I feel like the right will sort of lean more towards kind of like an anti-woke idea of we don't like the idea of being repressed or contained in our personal liberties, but that will in its own essence create sort of a different kind of woke where people will feel an urge to move toward the right that preserves personal liberties, which will in itself solve some of the current GOP problems, where they really try to like bust your door down or peek in your windows and tell you how to live your personal lives. That kind of social freedom needs to be something that, well, I think Americans like personal freedom, right? Even on the the far right side of things, people have like castle doctrine. They want to get good at firearms so they can preserve the autonomy of their home. They don't want to have like hostile government takeovers. They don't want regulations telling them how to live their personal lives. So there'll be a push more for this idea of the individual is sovereign, and we need to stop talking about things that will come in and demand of us how to live our lives. That in itself will create a different perspective than the Christian right of the Reagan years was doing, where we have sort of a mandated Levant religion-based concept of what we should be doing with our time and our lives, which is very fascist. It's somebody stepping in and saying, this is what you need to do. Whereas America has historically been, stay off of my lawn and let me live my own independent life the way I want. Now, if you pair that with economic freedom, the right has a chance. In other words, if people stop spending the way Trump spends, which he's spendy, right? He's more spendy than most Republicans before him. W. Bush was the same way. He wanted to spend a lot in international defense, and he had some explanations as to why, and those ended up falling flat or being disproven, so he looked really shitty for doing so. The amount of money that Republicans bleed has looked bad from a historic Republican perspective. So if a new GOP can step in and say, more personal freedoms, and also we're going to shore up the crazy bleed in spending that the left wants to do, I think they'll create sort of a new movement to motivate younger generations towards something other than the left.
The sad thing, though, is that we're actually seeing among the youngest generation.
Did we lose D?
now a very large shift towards the right compared to any other young generation before, because of figures like Andrew Tate.
I don't know. I feel like that's a different problem. Stuart, can you not hear me? Because you asked if you lost me.
No, I was just in my far room taking photos of Earthworm Jim. Lost the internet connection for a sec.
Oh, okay. So it's a you problem.
Wow.
Well, I heard Lycos for a second, so I wasn't sure.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I think like sort of the lonely incel issue, or the idea that tradcon life is being pushed away. That's one. I think there was an overreach in woke culture for a while that didn't accommodate for people that had other tastes, or in other words, like deliberately shamed the tradcon lifestyle. And now we're starting to at least adopt the idea that everybody does have their own tastes, and that even tradcon tastes are acceptable as long as both parties are in agreement to that. But also, we still have a loneliness epidemic. We still have an epidemic of, people had created a patriarchy in which if you have no social value and no market value to a woman as a man, we sort of had a way to give you that power to like shame a woman into being with you, and to be their provider, and to basically bind them to you, so that no matter what you did or no matter how useless you were, at least one woman still needed you in your life. And we've broken those shackles, and so a lot of people realized that they can't exist in the current marketplace of romance and relationships without doing something different, and they don't want to. They're upset at that. That's where people like Tate come in, is they try to help fix that frustrated person that doesn't want to do shit, but they're entitled to, they feel like they're entitled to something more than what they got.
I also, to an extent, think it's just kids trying to be edgy because that's just what kids do.
Sure. I think it's a problem that will solve itself over time. I think that's a blip in our current culture and not something that's going to gain a foothold and become a insidious issue over the long haul.
I hope not.
I hope not too. Yeah, maybe I'm being optimistic, but I feel like it's
the current trend inside of actual public schools is very much not looking like it's a temporary thing, sadly.
I think some of that's to permissive parenting. There's not enough hands-on parenting work being done, and that can be a problem in the long haul. Is if you let your kids behave in a certain way and engage in the world with certain proclivities, and you don't address how that's going to affect the greater populace, what they're doing and what they might cause for other people, especially people they decide to get in a relationship later. As a parent, you're part of the problem. You're allowing this sort of thing to fester and grow. And that's not fair to your child's future partners.
Yep.
By the way, D, if you'd like to see my worm, I posted it on Pride.
Of course you did.
Wow.
If I could think of any place for you to post your worm, that would be where I would tell you to put it.
I bet you're wondering why I'm was so anxious to finish this print before the end of the stream.
Is it
just
at least
to make
6
that dumb
inches?
joke? It's like 7, 8. It's 1/6 scale.
Interesting.
God damn.
I know, right? Wish my dick was that big.
Wait, we're not talking about... I'm just kidding.
Are you?
We weren't?
My whole life is a lie.
Yeah, what about it? Let's see who did vote for.
Anyway, yeah, I didn't mention this before, but let's pull the veil back behind why I chose the topic that we did. Stuart, this was largely inspired by a streamer that you and Haley left anonymous that was producing sort of sexualized content on Twitch, or I shouldn't say on Twitch, as a live streamer, because you didn't say what platform that she was on.
Yeah, she is streaming right now, by the way.
Oh, okay, great. We didn't share particulars, so yeah.
No.
I mean, I didn't want to platform this person because
yeah,
some of the stuff that you said that she's doing, but so I don't know exactly. I mean, you can always DM me.
I can DM you if you want.
Yeah, it's not something that I want to necessarily promote, but the idea is the concept is, you know, what sort of things are allowable or engageable with the greater community that are considered taboo but are maybe still allowed through policy. Like, what are Twitch's policies as far as sexuality and 18 plus content? What constitutes an 18 plus streams allowable content, and where does that stem from? I think the big thing is we all want to put blame on maybe a streamer for engaging in a certain type of content, but streamers generally can't survive for very long if they're going to do it monetized and like as a way of living their lifestyle, unless there's a group of people who incentivize that behavior. And then we have to question, is that group of people morally correct? Do we allow for them to bring that behavior down? And also, if people want a certain thing from a platform and the platform allows it, is that is that acceptable because the platform allows it, or are they just listening to greater forces at work? I rarely think of Twitch as some sort of moral guidepost or ruler with which I would check in to see if the things that I believe or feel are accurate in a greater moral scope of things, right? Like if I wanted to know how to live my life more ethically, I wouldn't look at the Twitch terms of service and say, well, I'll just do whatever they say, because that's largely guided by monetization, right? Twitch is owned by Amazon, and Amazon is looking to try to make some kind of money out of their endeavors. So the vast majority, I presume, are probably paid by advertisers. So you have to think in terms of, well, you know, if Twitch is inspired by advertisers and their ideas on policy for what's allowed in a stream really comes down to where would the advertisers pull out versus where would the advertisers say, this is acceptable, we'll still keep paying you hand over fist money. That starts to take away from the ethical basis upon which you stand. And if you think, well, okay, well, so it's all these companies and their guidance, that's what the real morality. It's like, okay, well, who advertises on Twitch? What was the last Twitch advertisement you guys saw? I think my last one was for Taco Bell.
Good question. So I do know that the ads change depending on like certain cookies you have on your machine.
It didn't do much damage.
Nah.
I've seen a couple for like video games. It's like, oh, that's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they don't advertise stuff about Amazon more.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, I find, so I use Duolingo regularly. I'm using it to keep certain Mandarin Chinese skill sets active in the kids. And then I'm actively teaching myself Finnish thanks to the Alan Wake series. Thanks to both of the people in Discord right now for my renewed interest in my cultural heritage and
welcome
learning a language that my family wouldn't teach me growing up because it was more hip to speak English. Yeah, I picked up Finnish on Duolingo. I noticed that Duolingo runs ads, and the type of ads that they run are a mix of these people bought ad space for us, and we also want to promote our own stuff. So I will get maybe 30% of the ads I see on Duolingo are about Duolingo, by Duolingo stuff. But I don't see the same thing happening on Twitch, which I find kind of weird. Like, why not cross-promote and encourage people to spend money in Amazon?
I will see Amazon Prime Video occasionally getting advertised if a new show's out.
Okay, that's something.
During the time of Fallout, they were advertising that, not like super heavily, but it's like, oh cool, they'll play a clip from it.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those shows that people are going to watch it regardless.
Yeah.
So like, okay, we don't really need to advertise this. People are already like hyping themselves up. Speaking of which, that show's really good.
Good to know.
What class are you playing right now?
Me?
Yeah.
This is one of the new classes from this expansion. It's called Pictomancer. It's basically an artist who uses paint and art magic to bring canvases to life. So her
like
whole
the reverse of my character's comic book ability.
Yeah, basically. Her whole repertoire is she's got a magic paintbrush and she uses different canvases and different paints. And
I love Epic Mickey.
What's that?
I love Epic Mickey.
Yeah. And so she's basically willing paint magic damage to exist in a variety of different forms. We're playing a lower level dungeon, so there's less that I can do in the kit, but I'm still using
I remember.
different colors and canvases at almost every level. It's been fun. One of the reasons why I like the newer classes is instead of the game forcing you to do certain dance steps, like they say, memorize this 3-button combination or memorize this order of operations, they give you the same buttons will do different things throughout the course of the combos that you build. So there's less buttons to memorize, and the spells will change as you've cast new things, or you basically unlock new combos with less buttons. So there's less tap dancing. You don't have as many skills all over different hotkeys.
Just face roll.
There's less face roll involved. A combo can be the same one button multiple times instead of pressing a 1, 2, 3 button to do a combo. You can just press a 1, 1, 1 button, and each time you press 1, it advances to the next spell. So that's smart. That makes sense, and it's just it's a nicer experience, even if it means less complexity. It also means being able to focus on higher level things in combat, which I like.
Looking at the cutscene too just reminds me of why I have a love-hate relationship with Final Fantasy.
What's that?
I love the armor, but it's overly designed to hell.
We're also looking at old content armor. This is from the vanilla game. So the character that we're looking at that has a certain look to her speaks to the origins of the MMO. Whereas I feel like over time, they've done better and better at giving the audience more nuance and more variety, as opposed to just
well, Final Fantasy's always had too much visual stimuli on most of their designs.
Yeah. What I mean is I think they acknowledge that in this game, and some things are a lot simpler than that. You can still find really complex and annoying visually looks, stuff that uses too much palette, too much detail in everything they've designed, but you can also find contrarian to that art design as well. Stuff that brings things down both in terms of palette and complexity of the visuals. But it's later.
The main problem is a lot of them, even over designed, still look pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, I want to draw something like that, and it goes, that's so much work.
That's fair.
There's characters in Kingdom Hearts games that are very similarly designed, and it kind of gives me PTSD because I just remembered painting their armor, and I was like, oh no. And they're not even as detailed as that character was. It's still that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Man.
I saw that. You and the tank.
Proud
An
of you.
attempt was made.
You did your best.
I was not quite fast enough.
Hmm.
I hesitated for a second, is this a good time? Boss health is getting pretty low. It's probably the only time.
Yeah. But yeah, part of the conversation we had the other night, Stuart, I found it interesting that it felt like, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there might have been a certain moral judgment on this particular streamer from both you and Haley, that they were maybe doing not the best thing by engaging with their Twitch community and sort of trying to monetize sexuality, and that part of that monetized sexuality also involved feeding a baby.
So another thing about this streamer that I haven't watched too much of them because not the biggest fan in general.
Yeah.
Especially since I know this person IRL.
I see.
They aren't very good at talking to their community in general.
Mm-hmm.
Most of their stream is just sitting there with the camera on as they play the game.
Right. Well, I mean,
I
accused other streamers also of just reading chat, like not even playing a game, but literally just reading the lines from chat and not processing what they're reading at all.
I will say right now, currently on their stream, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 comments, and they've been streaming for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Even though they still have a decent amount of viewers, they're just not engaging with their people watching them.
Not reading those
So
comments.
they don't have a reason to reply.
Yeah.
One of which is just a lurk.
Mm-hmm.
One of which is their night bot.
Lovely.
And then, yeah, just even the raiders that came into their party didn't say anything to them because they know they're not going to reply.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but
I mean, that's
we
fine. if
we
people are
rated
enjoying it.
we rated out recently to well, this isn't related to her, but we rated out recently to somebody that I just I felt like, oh, from a quick glance, they seemed like maybe a good community to send some folks to and support sort of a smaller streamer and just, you know, be good to a new person instead of just scratching the backs of people that I already know pretty well from the last couple of years of streaming. And they didn't acknowledge or recognize that we were in stream for a long time for the size of community that they have. It'd be one thing if you're like kind of new or you're used to streaming to 0 to 5 people, and then to have a raid, maybe you don't recognize that happened because you're just not used to that ever happening. But this particular streamer acknowledged it and then just like moved on really quickly, like, oh, raiders, and didn't even say like thanks or like let me introduce myself or anything. Just like huh, that's an interesting fact that happened, and then moved. And I'm not looking for clout, especially when I raid into somebody lower like lower metrics or lower engagement than me. I'm mostly just, you know, trying to see what else is out there on Twitch and meet new people and engage in that sort of thing.
Man, I can't believe D is just talking about me. I know I was a bad raid, but I didn't know it was that bad.
Not you.
Is it me? Even though I don't stream?
I don't think I've ever been able to raid out to you. I don't think we've ever streamed at the same time on the same day. Ever.
That's why the question was facetious. Or, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, did I use that word right? Yep.
Yes. But yeah, it makes you wonder. It's like if you're not actively watching what's happening to your community and you don't want to engage in or support people who come in to support you, like why are you involved in the world of it? Makes me feel like sometimes when you go to certain retail or service-based jobs and or sorry, businesses, and somebody's working that job and you find that they really don't care about you. If you left and you decided not to spend money there, they don't care at all. You have to wonder a little bit, why do you have this job? And I know the answer for some folks is, I couldn't get any other job. I need a job to survive. I will do anything just to keep working. But I won't actually like care. And I can understand that. What's that?
Literally me at my current job.
Yeah. I mean, if you feel like you really can't care about your job, that's probably more the job's fault than yours. You don't need to find that internal motivation. But there are some jobs that I feel like the fact that that is what you do, and streaming is one of those, that is what you do. You are a streamer. If you're not engaging with your community at large, why are you being a streamer? Why that specifically? If you're really big, sorry.
That one confuses me.
Yeah. If you're really big, I get it. You're probably comfortable letting your community wait for you to engage with them, or they're just happy just to watch you and there isn't a community engagement component, or they only read super chats $5 and up or something, you know. There's still some sort of answer there.
I've seen some bigger streamers who are still trying to be engaged at all.
Yeah.
Some of the Rooster Teeth, like ex-employees, I'll pop into their streams, and more often than not, they will point out stuff that they find funny in chat and comment on it. They don't tend to answer questions because they have so many people just flying by it. It's not really something they can do.
Fully understandable. Yeah, that's not a they choose not to. It's they really can't.
Also, when you get that many people in a stream talking at you, most of it is nonsense.
Right. There's a lot of trolling and useless. Yeah.
One of them literally says never trust chat, because they'll ask listen to the first couple people, and then no one after that. Like, oh, can you hear us? Because people just say no, 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 no.
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of me in there.
Yeah, imagine a whole community of Stewartses.
Oh, gross. I mean, that would actually be good. We just bounce off each other with dumb jokes.
But yeah, I will throw this particular streamer under the bus because I've raided to some really big streamers before in my past. I don't normally do it because I generally kind of prefer to be helpful to people I haven't raided to that could use more engagement than to put my humble community into a really, really big pond unless I feel a certain way about them. But in the last year, a number of people have compared me to a couple other streamers, one of them being Moist Critical, who I've never rated out to. He seems okay from my experiences so far. And the other one being Pirate Software, aka Thor. And one night I did decide to raid out to Thor, and I saw the numbers that he was streaming to, and they were similar to another couple other bigger streamers that I've raided out to in the past. And Thor just has everything engagement-wise turned off. He never hears any alerts for anything. So if you decide to raid, doesn't matter how many people you raid in with, he doesn't know you did it. He just keeps going with his show. He talks, you listen. He's the authority. You're there to hear his voice and his stories. You're not there to interact with him, which is it's interesting to go live with that sort of mentality. But sure, it seems popular enough. A lot of people seem to really like him in that regard. But I've had a couple other streamers who have been as big, and I could raid in on a really, really slow night, especially when I started streaming earlier, or near the beginning of my streaming career, I guess I should say, where maybe I had 3 people or 4 people in a raid. And without shaming the size of my raid, having a big streamer stop, read my name, acknowledge what I've done, and just be grateful, even for just a second, and then they go back to their main show because they're bigger than to sit there and like talk to me. Just the recognition felt really nice. And I wish more
literally
people...
just a, hey, thanks for the raid.
Yeah.
Is enough for most, or it should be enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or, wow, that was really cool. Thanks so much. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody go check them out. And then you go back to your show. Because you got lots of other chats to read, lots of other stuff you're doing. If you're a big streamer, not a big deal. But it's kind, and especially kind to those who are, you know, further down the ladder from you, that you're helpful in some way. And I've had shout outs matriculate into an immediate follow, where somebody would say, "Oh, my favorite streamer just advocated for Damien. I will go check them out because they said so, because they were, willing to put their reputation on the line and say that this person is worthwhile to check out."
I mean, that's how I found you.
Stop.
I found you by being like, who the fuck would raid me in my first night back on Twitch?
And that was just that was just lucky that somebody recommended you to us. I think that was Lady Nico too.
Nico knows me. The
What was
most
that?
I can figure is just I still don't know how Nico knows me either.
I don't
The
know.
most I can figure is I was active back in the FF14 community, and Nico knows a lot of people in the FF14 community, so probably from that.
True.
It's called stalking.
But like, yeah, exactly.
With that, and I think some people are good judgments of character. They know who's a good ideological fit with other people, and where.
And especially why was I rated?
Yeah. And
I'm just a dumbass.
Where people shine with others. I think a number of raid recommendations I've had in the last year have matriculated into getting to know somebody that I really appreciated. But I think above all of them, and this is not to belittle anybody I've met in this last year, but just to especially highlight one particular connection. I think out of everyone I've met, I appreciate Likos the best.
Haley.
Yeah. So
Just
thanks
a dumbass that likes
thanks
to
for
talk.
just being you. Instantly went from stranger that I raided into to one of my favorite people I've met. All right, virtually.
Which is funny because like there wasn't even much conversation when you first raided, and I was just trying to figure out what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
I the only reason why I went down and checked you out is because I was like, who in the flying fuck would raid me? Let alone like it's a different category. How did you know about me?
Right.
What the hell is going on? I had like literally no viewers the entire stream. So it couldn't have been anyone like pointing, hey, this person's live.
Mm-hmm.
It had been so long that I doubted any of my people that would recognize my name on the Twitch feed
Yeah.
would still even recognize the name at all.
Yeah.
Like it was just so many things of like, how did this happen? That I was like, I have to go into the stream. I have to figure out what the fuck is going on.
I appreciate your
By the way,
curiosity.
I did DM the streamer to UD if you would like to, just see.
Oh yeah, I like to hate watch people. No, I'm just kidding.
That's
No,
fair.
but I was just kind of. I'm just totally kidding. We're not going to do that.
Well, I know you and that's personal for you.
No, I like to understand sort of where the disdain for what they're doing comes from, and sort of what the business model for certain people is, and why people engage with their Twitch communities the way that they do, and why Twitch as an audience, the people that patron for these people, what is their ultimate motivator? Because if it was just like, oh well, I like sexy people who engage with me, there's such an overabundance of that, especially since the pandemic, of people saying, well, I get compliments around my neighborhood and I have a webcam, that's enough, right? So
It was kind of the reason Haley and I felt that way is it was because it was, I don't want to say personal, but like we knew it was more like, oh, this bitch is doing it again.
Yeah.
This time on instead of at work, it's her own thing, so whatever. But it was like we're used to that shit with that person.
Right. That they were actually doing it on the clock too, in
Yeah.
real life. Yeah.
I also sent you a picture of my favorite armor from
Ooh.
any media.
I'll have to check that out.
It is still fairly complex as armor goes, but I don't know. I just like it. Good old cloak with a full plate armor looks pretty nice in my opinion.
I do like that look. I like cloaks.
I have a couple.
I'm jealous.
I have a Jedi robe that doubles as a cloak.
Mm.
And I think I recently purchased a just standard cloak. I need to tatter it though.
I was watching Forest of Wires recently and realizing how much I wanted a cloak of my own. Do you know who that streamer is?
No.
He's like a wizard streamer. He's a DJ and a wizard. And his show is really, really corny. But people love him.
Very fun then.
Yeah. I don't think we could raid out to him. But I hate to say it, I'm going to have to back out of the front line. Really long queue.
He's probably not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. Not only is it not going to go anywhere, but I've already hit time. I got to go to sleep because tomorrow's encroaching super quickly on me. And I have a kindergartner that I have to get to school and so many things.
Congrats on keeping your children alive.
So far, yeah, they're still alive. I feed them, I clothe them, I keep a roof over their heads. This stream is a large part of that. So thank you for allowing me to have money to raise kids.
By the way, I will say it before anything happens. Be careful about raiding out today. I've heard terrible things about Lycos.
About Lycos. Okay, so don't raid.
Raid?
Don't raid to somebody named Lycos. Gotcha.
No, it was the reference from earlier.
How quickly he forgets.
I already forgot.
How quickly
the 3 deaths.
No, it's it's relating to the fact that like my raid groups have always been cursed.
When I heard him say raid out to, it didn't connect to the word raid in like an RPG sense.
It's okay.
So yeah. No, I won't raid with Lycos, even though we literally did an alliance raid and a normal raid together. So I guess
the clock is ticking for you.
Yeah, I guess do a wellness check on me tomorrow. Send some police to my front door, and we'll see how we do.
Oh man.
Just kidding.
I do like the fact how my brain just worked that way, and it did not work that way for you.
Yeah, I mean, streamer brain's a real thing too. So sometimes when something seems overt to you, me having like lights shining in my face and talking to an audience at the same time and also trying to game and whatever, all these things negatively, adversely affect my ability to cognitively connect with what might be apparent or obvious to other people.
I also have a habit of doing like 2 or 3 mental jumps to a joke that it's funny if you know the mental jumps I just made in my brain.
Right, like MMO raid versus Twitch raid. You say, well, the word raid means raid, so using raid should trigger something, while in my head they're completely separate categorically, even though there's the same word. Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for a very riveting and engaging chat. I appreciate all your faces for being here. In a couple days, we'll be doing more Mist Uru live. We've finished the vanilla game, so we're on to parts of the game. Oz has no idea what we're opening up or unlocking right now. And it's getting better. I feel like the vanilla game was a little bit wonky, but I feel like we're getting into stuff that feels more polished than that going forward. And that's on late Saturday, early Sunday. Late Sunday, early Monday, we're going to be coming back to Mother 3. We might actually finish the Mother series this weekend, so don't miss that. And in the meantime, can I make a suggestion? Because I didn't voice this the entire stream, but I'm going to do it right at the very end, unfortunately. I made my first post on TikTok It's true. I did. That particular application that said that thanks to President Trump, they're back in the US, which pushed a lot of people away. But I did decide to make my first post on TikTok ever. And I've committed to making several posts over the next few days. So if you don't follow me already, guess how to find me there? Yeah, you just search my name. For those people that feel like they're not really engaged with TikTok, they find it reprehensible, and they've long since left that community and joined the Red Note community instead as a better replacement for TikTok that just feels nicer and has been more international. I've also joined that community as well, and I will be making my first post on Red Note in the next 15 minutes. So go follow me on that platform if you have an account. If you don't, go make one and follow me there.
But that's hard work.
Making an account on Red Note?
Can I do it later?
Sure, but if you forget, I will hold it against you. It'll dock our friendship points.
Is it like your body? You'll hold it against me?
I mean, hit me in DMs later.
Oh, nice. I mean, you have a couple extra bodies there, right? Like in the closet.
What?
I'm insinuating that you have bodies in your closet and was trying to lead you into a path of being a murderer. Or I got nothing. It's late and I'm tired.
You could also go the route where several people last year were accusing me of being a chat GPT, and that maybe this is just a synthetic body, and that I have several spares somewhere else in the house that I can swap out to. You can have one of those.
No, I know it's still an organic body. Just because it was made by a machine doesn't make it mean it's not organic. It doesn't have to be a synthetic body.
Sure. That could be. All right. See you guys. I'm going to pop out of Discord and say one last good night to everybody. And we'll catch you all on the flip side. Thanks for a great night. It was a lot of fun.
We'll play on Friday.
And yeah, we'll probably be playing Friday. That will probably be happening too. So even before the Saturday, Sunday stream, I will probably appear on Oz's stream on Friday night. All right. Have a good night. Bye. All right. Kick, Trovo, YouTube, we're saying goodnight to you right now. If you are safe, fed, and loved, make sure someone out there is too, please. Go follow me on all my socials. Again, also TikTok and Red Note, which are new. I mean, I made accounts on them. I just have been inactive / lurking for a while and figuring out how to find the time to make posts, to make it happen. And I just said, you know what? I just gotta make it happen. I gotta make the time no matter what I end up sacrificing to make it happen. So I did. And now I have a post on one of those, and I'll have a post on the other one as soon as I go off from being live here. I appreciate your faces, and I'll see you guys soon. Cyberstalk me in the next couple days, and let's chat about things until my next stream, or give me stuff to chat about on my next stream. All right. See you guys. Oh, Twitch. Hang on a sec while I say goodbye to everybody.